But if we were running a race, the race started and Jaden Daniels' car went so fast down. Like he just was going so fast, looking great, Lambo. My race started, my car didn't start, and then it went like 60 miles an hour, and then it literally blew up. There's another car that has shown up to the race that is showing that it could be faster than all the other cars, and that would be the worst outcome.
Drake May?
Yeah. That's what everyone who's listening to this podcast is rooting for, and it's like, look at his face. Look at his face. On today's Part of My Take, we have an awesome interview with Minnesota Timberwolves' Julius Randle in studio. He stopped by, talked to us. Great time with him, talking NBA. We are going to talk about Monday Night Football, some things going on in the NFL, some cleanup from Week 10. We have college football talk. We're getting close to the end of the season. Things are getting tight. We're going to do Guys on Chicks, Hot Seat, Cool Throne. It's all brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. The Emeritus NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the best place to bet NBA player props. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like picking how many points your favorite player will have. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make your pick. First time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Part of My Take, presented by DraftKings. Score big with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TAKE. That's code TAKE for new customers. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Today is Wednesday, November 13th, and the Miami Dolphins might be, I'm not going to say back. They're spoilers. They win Monday Night Football. Tua looks good, and I don't know what the fuck to make of the Rams other than the fact that what the hell is going on with Sean McVay? Why are you kicking field goals on third down?
The Dolphins are technically not out of it.
They're the perfect spoiler team.
They might spoil a bunch of games, but if you look at the 7th seed in the AFC right now, we don't know. And this was a perfect weekend for it. You had all their competition for that final seed ended up losing.
Yep.
The Dolphins win. Tua comes back, proves to us he can still make a tackle.
Yeah.
Credit to Tua. Sticking his head in there. That seemed like it was a bad idea. But yeah, McVay kicking a field goal on third down. I don't know if that was the right decision or not. They probably weren't going to win the game at the end.
No, that was the wrong decision, and here's why. If you are going to play the game of we should kick a field goal before we try to get a touchdown, do it with like a minute and a half left at the minute you get into field goal range.
Do it on first down.
Yeah, do it when you get into field goal range if you're going to go that route. Otherwise, you have why would you give away a down? That you could, like, the harder thing to do is score a touchdown. Why are you giving away down there? Just go for it on third down and then kick the field goal. It felt like he got caught, like, somewhere in the middle where he just didn't really make up his mind. Like, you have to be decisive that if you're like, hey, we got to get a field goal first, do it with a minute and a half left.
I think, so what we're saying is he made the right decision, but just way too late.
Way too late, and then early.
To the point where it ended up not being the right decision because he waited so long to make the right decision.
And then he somehow waited way too long and then also at the same time still did it early.
I mean, shout out to procrastinators. I think it's a very relatable mistake to make.
I feel like didn't feel like he just was like, I kind of didn't really have a plan here. Fuck it, let's kick the field goal now.
He was like, oh shit, yeah,
I should have done this a while ago.
I'll do it right now.
But someone should have said, hey, no, actually, don't do it right now. Wait at least one more down.
You know the old saying where there's never a good way to make the wrong decision?
Yeah.
This is like the opposite of that. There is a bad way to make the right decision.
Yes.
And that's what McVay ended up doing.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about McVay's beard. So you know how he talked to us about the beard procedure that he had? He got like PRP injected into his cheeks.
Yeah.
It's scooped down way low. It's looking pretty patchy on the sides.
I'm concerned about his hair.
Yeah, well, the hair's another thing. I do.
He needs to go with Wonton Don and Nicky Smokes and White Sox Dave to Turkey.
That's like a midlife crisis in a bottle right there. I think that NFL coaches and coaches in general have done no favors by camera angles when it comes to thinning hairlines.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
It's a bad spot to be in. But yeah, the Dolphins, they're not dead. The Dolphins are not dead. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, but you still have some games that mean a little bit to you before you officially start playing spoiler and just being like, okay, I'm going to go into every weekend trying to be an asshole.
Well, they have the Raiders and the Patriots next, so if they can win those two games, they're now sitting there 5-6 going into Lambeau.
They have to go 6-2.
Thanksgiving weekend. So yeah, I thought Tua played great. Like, I know that his numbers weren't like super flashy, but even in the second half, when they needed to get first downs, when they needed to extend drives to keep the ball away from the Rams, they were able to do it. And there's something about the Dolphins. I think it's a night game, and I think it's indoors. They just look so fast, and their uniforms pop. And I feel like
and they got another weapon too.
They're spoilers.
Malik Washington.
Yeah.
So the guy that ran in that first touchdown, he looks so fast.
So fast.
It's like, how do they keep finding these guys? I went up and looked up his combine stats because I was like, how did the league allow the Dolphins to get another guy that appears to run like a 4.3? I think he ran like a 4.59 or a 4.5 at the combine. Now I'm so deep in the conspiracy where I'm thinking that like they talk to guys who are fast and they say, hey, just run like a little bit slower. And then I'll draft you.
Yeah.
And then we'll get you in an offense that works, and nobody else will know that you're secretly very fast.
They build the whole plane out of speed.
Yeah.
And it works. So, yeah, looking at the Dolphins, I think they are just the prime spoiler team. I think they have a game against the Texans and the 49ers later in the season. They're going to win one of those two. It's not going to mean anything for them, but it will mean a lot for the team that loses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not – listen, being spoiler, at this point, if you can't get to the playoffs, be a spoiler.
Yeah, but they're not there yet. They still have that hope to cling on to.
They still do. If they can win the next two games, they still have a little hope. Okay, other cleanup stuff. Am I wrong to think that Micah Parsons didn't say anything wrong?
No.
What did he say?
Well, the fact that he's on the Cowboys
question.
makes you think like this has to be a story anytime he says something.
Yeah, so here's what he said. After the game, after another loss, he was asked about Mike McCarthy's hot seat. And he said, that's above my pay grade, whether Mike is coaching again next year. Coaching, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. Guys I kind of feel bad for are veteran right guard Zach Martin, guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, because that's who I want to hold the trophy for. And essentially being like, I don't give a fuck about Mike McCarthy. I guess people are saying... He went on to say, you want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. I guess that would be maybe the shot. Those are the kind of guys that I have so much sympathy and hurt for. I have no problem with it. It was honest. Like, Mike McCarthy can coach seemingly for the rest of his life. An NFL player has a limited time to be on an NFL roster. And he's like, yeah, the guys next to me who might be on their last year, those are the guys I feel for, knowing that Mike McCarthy's going to be fine no matter what. I guess like maybe saying, they work harder than Mike McCarthy ever works. I could see understanding that would be like, maybe don't say that. But this is one of those, this falls under the category of you want your athletes and coaches to give honest answers. And when they give honest answers, we should be like, that was an honest answer, not, holy shit, how could he say that?
I think it's a fair answer to give, but it's also knowing that you're a star player on the Dallas Cowboys, know that any piece of media you put out there is going to take it out of context.
Correct.
And then you're going to have to answer. Actually, it's a great move for his podcast to be open and honest, because not only do you get initial news bump when you say something, but then you also get the clarification podcast,
yes,
where you go back on and address the controversy. You might ask yourself, is it wise for a star player to have a podcast and say at times inflammatory things, or is that mostly the position that should be withheld for people that are media trained, like the owner of the team to
yes,
do when he does his weekly radio hit, and he does the exact same thing?
Yes,
they're gorging the media. Like they're just filling up the news cycle with things to talk about with the Dallas Cowboys. And somehow Micah Parsons' quote about Mike McCarthy's response quote about us handling it like men. We had a conversation like men do, which is a great thing to say. Like, how did you address this? Well, I'm a man, and he's a man, so we had a man-to-man.
I just assumed when Micah Parsons says we had a conversation like men, it was just Mike McCarthy on the shitter and Micah Parsons maybe sitting next to him in the stall next to him being like, hey, should we talk about this real quick?
They're playing battleship with each other,
but you're right. You're exactly right that this is like a cats in a cradle situation. Micah Parsons learned it from Jerry Jones.
Exactly.
You can't say, Micah Parsons, how are you saying this? Well, we say everything here.
Yeah, you can't discipline Micah Parsons for doing the exact same thing that your owner does on a weekly basis. As he's fighting now like a two-front battle, one against the PR machine around Micah Parsons, and Jerry Jones is also fighting a battle against the Sun, and he's currently losing that battle to the Sun. Although they have adapted. They've adapted a little bit. Mike McCarthy did that press conference yesterday, and the sun was beaming straight into his eyes where the podium was.
Yep.
So they set up a little sun blocker for Mike McCarthy. I mean, what are you going to do? You going to put up a sun blocker? You wanted to bulldoze the entire stadium next?
Yeah. The facility? You can't do that.
You can't do that.
I did like that move by Jerry Jones being like, hey, here. We'll answer the critics on the Sun.
Yeah, we got you.
Bang.
We figured out a solution to it.
But I had no I really have no problem with Micah Parsons saying it because there's a lot of truth in it that I think an NFL player, as much as you don't maybe want to say that quiet part out loud, they are always going to care more about the guys next to them in the locker room than they are about a coach.
He also complimented his coach.
Yeah.
It's not like he said, at this point, I can't control what the coaches do. They make some decisions that I don't like, but I'm going to go out there and play for the guy next to me. It's not like he threw Mike McCarthy under, I guess, a very, very large bus. It's just the fact that he did not praise Mike McCarthy enough as he talked about his teammates.
Say the cliche thing, which the reporter was fishing for, is Micah Parsons being like, no, we're still fighting for our guy Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Which would have been not true. Like they're fighting to win games, but this is also the point in the NFL season where guys do start making business decisions. Where it's like, we're not going to go to the playoffs. We're not a good team. I got to get my stats. I got to put it on tape. I got to play for my next contract. And again, Mike McCarthy will be fine because if he doesn't get another head coaching job, he'll get a consulting job. He'll get paid $3 million to sit and find the next Jets or the Bears' next head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what he's going to be fine.
And then he'll say it should be me.
Yeah, right. So he's set up for life.
I don't have a problem at all with what Micah Parsons said, but what I did have a problem with is that he referred to his defensive coordinator as Zimmerman. So I don't think he knows the name of his defensive coordinator.
He might not.
I think he thinks his name is Mike Zimmerman.
Well, he was hurt for a while, Micah Parsons.
I know.
So
but
that might be.
You would think that he would at least get his defensive coordinator's name correct.
It was close enough.
I guess.
Maybe they just call each other man.
Yeah, he's the Zimmerman.
Yeah, he's the Zimmerman.
That might be it.
Yeah. Okay, other news. The Bears fired Shane Waldron, which was just a Band-Aid on a gaping wide hole that's going to keep bleeding out forever.
Yeah, so Shane Waldron, Luke Getsy, both get the axe early. You had to.
Both now, Eberflus's hires.
Now, here's what's crazy is that when you look at Shane Waldron being fired and how that all shook out yesterday, Adam Schefter said that the Bears are going to make a decision. They're going to move on. They're going to make some changes on offense. Mm-hmm. It could be their coordinator, and it could be their quarterback.
Yep.
Why did the Bears even throw that out there? In what world is benching Caleb Williams right now a solution to anything?
I actually think I don't want him to be benched, but there actually is a world where it solves a little something in the fact that you now have we're for all the jokes we made about the Panthers and fleecing the Panthers, we are the Panthers from last year in that you had Frank Reich, who was like a lame duck coach, and he was calling plays, and then he gave Thomas Brown play calling duty for 3 weeks, and then he took the play calling duty back. Now the Bears, lame duck head coach, rookie quarterback, Give the play calling to Thomas Brown, who's now the Bears offensive coordinator, probably going to take it back after he sucks. So I'm just worried that, I mean, it probably doesn't matter in the end of the day, but yeah, I think you could probably hurt Caleb Williams even more by having him run an offense that doesn't work whatsoever. I want him to play, but it's gotten so bad that I actually could be convinced that, like, yeah, maybe we should just sit him out and just start next year fresh and be like, new team, new everything, new, like you never even played an NFL game, Caleb Williams.
Yes, Hank, you have a question.
Yes, I saw that the Waddle and Sylvie account posted that veteran players had went to the coach and asked for Bagent.
Yeah, Sylvie said there were people asking that. Yeah, DJ Moore probably. Listen,
that's bad.
The whole thing is bad.
Like, the players should want Caleb. It's correct that, like, if the system's bad, like, maybe it's bad for his progress, but, like, the players in the locker room want to win. You would think they, the fact that they don't want Caleb as their QB is bad.
Caleb is broken right now.
Although it's probably just DJ Moore.
Yeah, and Eberflus has broken him to a point. I mean, you can see it when he plays. They stressed it all summer, like, hey, we want to take the aggressiveness out of him. His brain is locked up every time he drops back.
I think the players want, if a player did go to the coaching staff and say, we want to have Bagent play instead of Caleb Williams, do you think it's because that's the fix that they learned last year that worked in the short term when they put Bagent in and the offense looked a little bit better? So the solution that they have in their minds is, let's get Bagent in? Or is this a completely different problem that the Bears have this year compared to what they had last year?
It's the same problem every year for the Bears. They are actually running essentially the worst anniversary year of all time. It's the 10-year anniversary of the 2014 team, that was Mark Trestman's last year, and down to like a T. It was actually, when the season started to spiral, it was losing to the Dolphins, Brandon Marshall and Robbie Gould getting in a fight in the locker room. Always great when your kicker gets in a fight. Mm-hmm. Losing to the Patriots, that was the famous Lamar Houston tore his ACL after sacking Jimmy Garoppolo when we were down 40 points. And then, so we lost the Patriots. Then the next week was the game that Aaron Rodgers threw like 6 touchdowns in the first half. So it went Patriots, Packers, and everything. And then Jay Cutler got benched for Jimmy Clausen because Mark Trestman was trying to save his job. So it's just history repeating itself. I do think they probably at some point will probably be like, yeah, we'll just put in Tyson Bagent.
That actually sounds worse.
What?
What you just described is a much worse situation than now.
No, it's the same.
Jimmy Clausen?
It's the same, Hank. It's the same.
I kind of agree with Hank.
We had a guy tear his ACL celebrating a sack down 40 points. He sacked the backup quarterback. It's the same. It's just a clusterfuck. And just firing guy. And then, Cromer got fired. Like, the whole thing, the Bears are a joke of an organization. I've been over this a million times. I think this is kind of the last time I'm ever going to believe.
I don't think that it's the same because Caleb is still, he's got the talent to be. What was the knock on Caleb when he came out of college? He holds on to the ball.
Everyone said fingernails.
Yeah, I think crying.
Yeah.
He holds on to the ball too long.
But he now holds on the ball because they told him don't throw picks.
But I think it's a different holding on to the ball too long problem than what they had last year. That's why I think that this going to Bagent doesn't fix anything, because last year the holding on to the ball too long problem was because Justin Fields just couldn't get the ball out on time because he couldn't process it. With Caleb, I think the problem is more that he just believes that he's going to be able to make a play and he holds on to it and tries to run around, ends up getting sacked, runs out of bounds, whatever. I think it's a different reason for holding on to the ball too long.
Well, no, it's everything. It's Caleb is tentative and not seeing anything well, playing bad. The offensive line playing bad, and the schemes don't work. I watched some tape. I watched the tape. Essentially, Keenan Allen is playing DJ Moore's position from last year. DJ Moore had a great year last year. We're getting him in motion and letting him beat guys off the line of scrimmage. Keenan Allen's not as Keenan Allen is old. He's not as fast as DJ Moore. Why is Keenan Allen running DJ Moore's plays? And DJ Moore is just being put out wide and just being like, okay, just get jammed at the line of scrimmage. Like, the whole thing is a mess. It will never get fixed. We hired the guy who's running the whole operation is Kevin Warren, who, remember, tried to cancel football. He doesn't fucking like football. And it's never going to change. So I think I might have reached the point where I'll never believe again.
But if they go up 7-0 on the Packers, they're back.
No.
They're back.
I think I'll never believe again.
I would bet $1,000. I'll put $1,000 into the part of my take what are we calling that? The tip jar?
Yeah.
That when the Packers, if they go down to the Bears, Big Cat will be like, the Bears are back.
I think I'm never going to believe again. I mean, we did it with Mitch, we did it with Justin, we did it with Caleb. I think I think it's rotten to the core. It has nothing to do with who they're going to hire the fourth best offensive coordinator to be the new head coach, and we're going to try to be sold on that, and I'm not going to fall for it anymore. Do you think there's any chance that is true?
No.
Yeah. Unfortunately, probably.
Do you see the one guy I saw on Friday night? He was wearing a Drake May Bears jersey.
That's tough.
Kind of wild.
But Drake May would suck on the Bears.
Yeah, I think anybody.
Jaden Daniels would suck on the Bears. This is the Patrick
Jaden
Mahomes.
Daniels is really good.
This is the Patrick Mahomes. Like we passed on Patrick, or we didn't pick Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes would suck on the Bears because the Bears are a joke of an organization. That's just how it works. There's nothing's going to change. They don't care about winning. And Shane Waldron, like, that doesn't solve anything. That was also the first time they've ever fired an offensive coordinator midseason.
That's good.
Yeah. Great. Awesome.
Progress.
It is very funny that Luke Getsy and Shane Waldron are the only two offensive coordinators fired this year, and they both were hand-selected by Matt Eberflus.
Yep.
And Luke Getsy was fired, obviously, by the Raiders like week 6. So, knows how to pick them.
Should have fired Matt when you had the chance last year.
Should have fired Matt when we had the chance. Didn't do it because we're fucking a joke.
He was like, come on, I'll get hot.
Get funked up. All right,
get a haircut.
Any other NFL things? Means, how are you doing?
Meh.
Okay. You're in hell with me?
Yeah, I'm just looking at coaches.
Okay, what do you got? What'd you find?
Deion Sanders.
Okay.
Ooh.
Culture changer.
Unfortunately, Deion's going to the Cowboys.
Unfortunately, Deion might be going to the LSU Tigers. There was a flight tracker today that a flight from Boulder stopped in Dallas, where Deion has a house, then went to Baton Rouge, and then stopped in Houston, and then went back to Boulder, where Deion also has a house.
That's very interesting. I love flight tracking. I love it. I've said a million times, if the SEC message boards had been in charge of NORAD on 9/11, we would have shut that shit down. They are all over the private jets, and if they're saying it, then I have no choice to believe it. But I do think that Deion to the Cowboys would just be a lot of fun.
Deion and Shador. I think he's just going to go wherever Shador goes.
Yeah.
Why not?
That would make for an interesting dynamic in the NFL. If your coach's son is also your quarterback.
I hope LeBron
Lakers,
LeBron comes out and he's like, this is not right.
Yeah.
The head coach should not be coaching his son. So you're looking at coaches. What? Deion Sanders. What else?
Deion Sanders, Mike Vrabel. Somebody threw out the idea of John Gruden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel, by the way, he's the winner of this whole thing because he's going to get whatever he wants. Whatever he wants.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams out there that need men. There's a man problem in the NFL.
Yeah, there's a big-time man problem.
Society, that's right.
By the way, did you see so here's how bad it might go down as one of the worst head coaching carousels of all time. 2022. Here, I'm gonna give you all the coaches. So these are the good ones: Mike McDaniel, Kevin O'Connell, good coaches, good hires. Here were the other. This is 2022 coaching vacancies. Brian Daboll got hired by the Giants. He's probably gonna get fired. Doug Peterson already fired. Todd Bowles, that was kind of coach in place. Josh McDaniels already fired. Matt Eberflus gonna get fired. Dennis Allen already got fired. Lovie Smith already got fired. Nathaniel Hackett already got fired. 10 head coaching vacancies, and half of them have already been fired.
Yeah, I do like the idea, though. Like, I think Josh McDaniels is a shitty head coach, and I don't know. At some point, another team might take a chance on him, but I like the idea of him getting back with Belichick.
Yeah, that would work.
Because Belichick can keep him in line a little bit.
That would work. That would absolutely work.
Because I feel like they do good Bears. They do good cop, bad cop, but somehow Bill Belichick is the good cop in that relationship. Hey, that's how shitty of a police officer Josh McDaniels is.
You don't understand. The Bears will never hire someone who's an alpha or a football guy. They won't. Because they just want to have Kevin Warren in an empty suit be the guy who's in charge somehow. This is just never going to happen. They're never going to hire a guy who's like, it's my way or the highway. I'm running this. I'm bigger than the organization. It just won't happen. Because that would be a good move, and they don't. It's a fork in the road, and if it's a good move, they always go the other way.
Memes, what do you think about Rex Ryan? Bring him back.
Some glory days. I could make a sick sick hype video. Sometimes you got to go back to move forward.
I would love Rex Ryan.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. I mean, at this point, it does feel like that's the next move for the Jets, right? Is glory days.
Yep, and that fits into the historical hire Rex Ryan after you get rid of the Green Bay quarterback, 2 AFC championships. Wife gets a tattoo of the next quarterback.
Yep.
Foot fetish comes back, and then you're back.
Then you're back. Who else would be a good glory days? Eric Mangini?
Nope.
The man genius?
Nope.
Ooh.
Bill Belichick. Glory days.
He would never.
No. He hates him so much.
I just want someone who wants
Pete
to
Carroll.
get.
Todd Bowles.
Pete Carroll? Nah.
Bill
Pete Carroll.
Parcells.
Bill Parcells.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he is.
He's very much alive.
Pete Carroll.
Yeah, he talked. Remember Darren Rizzi called Dan Campbell and Bill Parcells.
Yeah. Parcells is still very much alive. He just spends all day at the track, I bet.
Yeah. And taking phone calls from coaches.
Yeah.
As a mentor. All right, last thing about NFL before we do college football. How are you guys? We're 2 days away from a PMT, all-time PMT rivalry match for the NFC East. How are both sides feeling?
It's hate week.
How are both sides feeling?
I feel good. I feel love.
You feel love?
Yep.
Whoa.
What does that mean?
I don't know. You can choose hate. I'll choose love.
Okay.
PFT, do you think you're going to win this game?
I actually do.
Okay.
I think that the Commanders are going to win this game. I think I also went back and rewatched the film. I watched every play.
That was continue.
You don't know what I'm going to say. You don't know what I'm going to say, Max.
Yep.
You're debating a ghost right now.
Yeah.
I was going to say that the Steelers' defensive line and their linebackers played exceptionally well.
Yeah.
They're really, really, really good on defense. They limited Jaden to not scrambling at all. I think he had like maybe 5 yards rushing. We didn't really do any designed runs, and when we did try to do them, they didn't work, and he just got down immediately. They did a great job. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a very, very, very good football team. And if you look at how the Commanders bounced back to their other great loss that they had, which was against the Ravens, I feel like we're in a good position. I trust Dan Quinn.
What was the game after the Ravens?
I believe that was the Panthers. And that's when Mariota went out there and lit him up. Now, there's some frauds. There's some fraud talk out there.
Yeah, also,
for the Commanders.
can I say I'm because the Bears season is completely over. I'm now getting personally offended for you on the fraud talk.
I'm not offended by it.
Oh, I am, because I saw someone say the Commanders they've lost all their games to winning teams and they've only beaten losing teams. That's just not true.
Yeah.
They beat the Cardinals.
Yes.
They beat the Bears when they were 4-2.
Yep.
And they were, and they also lost to the Bucks, who were a lose. I don't know what, I feel like those arguments always, I guess the person was taking their record at the time of playing.
Which you can't do. You can't do that.
But if you do that, you beat the Bears, who were 4-2.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you can't switch back and forth. You can't be like, oh, we beat the 4-2 Bears, but that counts as a under 500 team. But we also beat the 2-4 Cardinals, who are now 6-2. Like,
yeah, listen, you have to be consistent when you do your fraud stats. You either have to say right now, what are the teams' records that you beat and the teams that you lost to? If you go by right now, guess what? The Cardinals are a good team.
Yep.
And we crushed the Cardinals. But here's why I'm not upset at all about the fraud talk. It's an honor to be called a fraud. As long as I've lived, I have yearned for somebody to think highly enough of my football team to the point where they can hate my football team.
I don't know.
So the fact that I don't give a fuck. You can call me. Guess what?
If you lose to the Eagles by a lot, that's not a good thing to be like, you're a fraud.
No, I'm talking about right now.
Oh.
As we stand right now. Guess what? Bernie Madoff, he lived a long time as a fraud, and he had fucking islands that he vacationed
But
on.
he also probably
had a great run.
But he probably also stayed up every single night being like, someone's going to catch me.
He had a great run being a fraud, and I think this is how big of a loser I am. This goes against Hank's, all his messaging to me of how to handle winning. Now, I'm going to go against it for a second, because being called a fraud, we haven't been nearly good enough in decades for somebody to think that we're so highly rated that we could even possibly be frauds.
Got it.
Nobody thinks that a 4-14 team is a fraud, or 4-13 team is a fraud. So, but
yeah, I don't agree with this sentiment, but okay.
Yeah, going back to what Max was alluding to, I think was the dropped catches that Jaden had.
Have you recounted the ballots? Like, there's some
Did you
people...
watch the compilation that PFT put together?
No.
And you know what?
It was all pass breakups.
No.
I think there were 2 drops and 6 pass breakups.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. And I forgot to put in the Luke McCaffrey drop that he had, which would have been another like 25 yards. But I mean, I'm going to go back and repeat what I said on Monday, which
Let's see this.
Jaden did not play his best game. It wasn't his best game. He didn't look outstanding.
I made you say that, though.
But
yeah, he did.
But you're right.
Yeah, no, good. I'm happy for the listeners that we got that.
Go to PFT's account. Why are you on Jaden Daniels?
I'm trying to do too many things.
Yeah.
He did not play his best game, but I think that
Max did make you say that.
He probably left about, I'd say, 65 to 70 yards on the field in drops and a touchdown that was dropped.
Okay. All right, let's see it.
That's George Pickens.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. That was a drop. I'm counting that as one drop. We're on drop watch. Hank left. He's like, I don't want to do this. That's a pass breakup.
No, the defender didn't touch it.
I think the defender broke his hands there, and he got in front of his face.
Watch.
Like he was covered.
Watch. It bounces off his shoulder pads. Boom.
Okay.
And his face mask.
I mean,
that's a drop. Off his face mask. Drop.
That's maybe a pass breakup.
Watch the replay.
Okay. I mean, he got his hands into his hands. Terry would have re-caught that.
That's a drop.
That's a drop.
That was a catch.
No, he dropped it. You didn't see it bounce off the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how obvious it was.
That's a pass
horrible
breakup.
throw.
That's a pass breakup and behind him, yeah. So there's 2 drops so far. How long is this video?
Bad throw.
That's a bad throw. So that was 2 drops.
And then there was a Luke McCaffrey one that he also dropped.
Yeah. Because that last one was a missed throw.
I would say of the drops compilation that I put on, there were at least 3 drops.
I think it was between 2 and 3.
And
depending on how you're looking at it.
There was another one that I didn't include.
How did you not include that?
Also drop. Because I didn't have the replay of it.
You can't count the one that you didn't include.
That's true.
Like you put so many that weren't drops. How am I supposed to believe?
This game is your entire season, PFT.
I would agree.
You think so?
Yeah. I think I am rooting for the Commanders, and I will be personally heavily invested in them, but I think if they lose this game, it's their 3rd playoff game that they've lost, and it's the season's over.
Can't lose that
you
many
guys
games.
will officially be frauds.
No.
The teams you've beat are trash. Like you guys were celebrating, and it was because it was an exciting game and a good finish, and so it's like, you know, you lived off of that Hail Mary, but it was against the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we almost beat them.
Yeah.
We've got some great losses, though.
It's really good losses. I don't think your season's over. I think you'll still go to the playoffs, but this is why I push back on the fraud thing. If you lose to the Eagles by a lot, being a fraud, like, that sucks because everything you thought is not real.
Well, no, I disagree because in this season, this is all gravy. This is all extra. So I didn't think that the Commanders had a good enough team roster-wise to compete and even be this good and win this many games. I was expecting, 8 wins tops.
But what if Jaden plays like he did last week again against the Eagles? Does that not make you nervous about?
Well, yeah. Obviously, I want to see Jaden.
How many drops?
I want to
the
see
Eagles also have a very good defense.
Yes.
I want to see Jaden continue to play well. That's obvious. But this is such a it's such an unexpectedly good season so far that to have this many wins, I think is great. I'm not going to be upset about outperforming expectations because it tells me, number one, we've got a quarterback that we can build around. Number two, our coaching staff did a hell of a job to get this much production out of guys that were either brought in off the scrap heap or guys that are holdovers from the previous regime that are just they haven't shown to be that good, and to get them to all buy in and outperform expectations, I think that's a great thing. So it's not like it's hard for me to be disappointed about being a fraud if I never thought that we would even get to this place.
What I'm basically trying to say is it's on the table now, and it's the true sicko and perverts are rooting for this, and who knows what's going to happen. But if we were running a race, the race started, and Jaden Daniels' car went so fast down, like he just was going so fast, looking great, Lambo. My race started, my car didn't start, and then it went like 60 miles an hour, and then it literally blew up. There's another car that has shown up to the race that is showing that it could be faster than all the other cars, and that would be the worst outcome.
Drake May?
Yeah. That's what everyone who's listening to this podcast is rooting for. And it's like, look at his face. Look at his face. He's already gotten one out.
Do you think that Drake is that car?
I'm starting to believe.
So sick. It's so sick.
And in this analogy, that car didn't have a driver because the driver was like, I don't really care.
Yeah, it didn't start off the gate.
And then it started rolling for a little bit. And then the driver had to be convinced by his other two podcast co-hosts to get into the car and start driving reluctantly. And then he wins the race.
Because the driver just wants to win races. But that's the thing. Like, winning races against shitty cars doesn't matter. You want to beat the good cars. And when you've experienced winning those big races, then, beating lower tier cars just doesn't really mean as much. So that is why the care isn't as much there.
I think Jaden Daniels is very, very good.
Would you say
looks great, but there's also just the fucked up nature of this ecosystem that's the only part. It's like, I'm not down on Jaden Daniels for any of his play. I'm down on Jaden Daniels because of how this podcast operates.
Yeah, would you say that?
Does that make sense?
In this analogy, Big Cat, would it be fair to equate this to like getting a car that you love and you're super pumped up about and you show off to everybody and then you drive it around and then you keep bragging about it and then it stalls in the middle of the freeway during rush hour?
Yeah, kind of like that.
No,
and then the Audi just shows up and it always runs well.
I'm not down on Jaden at all.
I'm not either. But you know what I'm saying.
I think he had maybe one of his worst games of the season, which was still a good game. He was okay.
Max?
No, I actually agree with that. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I'm not down on him. The only part of that I'm down on with Jaden Daniels is that this is such a fucked up world that we live in. That car might sitting on the couch.
Yeah, the scars
just like smirking a little bit, being like, "Whoops, me."
Jaden Daniels didn't make a bunch of mistakes last game.
No.
I just didn't think he had a good game.
Yeah, if he had played like he did against the Bengals, then we probably would have won that game.
Right.
There were a couple throws that he missed. There was one on that final drive, which would have probably gotten us into field goal range at the very least, that he missed the one to Brown.
Yep.
He had a miss to McCaffrey when we were backed up in our own end zone that he missed. So yeah, there were some mistakes out there, but I'm still buying all the Jaden Daniels stuff.
As you should.
I think that he's
Absolutely.
I think that he is
Absolutely.
going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
And let me double down on accountability. Eagles really haven't beat anyone either. Depending on who you think about they obviously the Packers win at the beginning of the year, big win. And depending on what you think of the Bengals, those are the only two good wins.
That's accountability.
And I'm going to stick with what I said, that I think that the Eagles have the better team. I think they've got the better roster. But if our quarterback plays to the top of his ability, I think that we can win this game.
Yeah, my car's blew up everywhere.
Also,
massive, my car is one of those like buses in India with like 100 people on the roof, and it flipped.
Credit to the Steelers too, because Russell Wilson played very, very well, and I think that
swag.
I think that the Steelers are a legitimate threat.
Also, Mike Tomlin, you're not a degenerate. There was lip reading afterwards where you said, "Do not snap it. Do not snap it."
Okay.
So he was not going to go for that.
Yeah, I mean that's a dumbass play, the dumbass penalty we committed at the end.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk some college football before we do that. Viator, finding the perfect gift can be tough, especially one that won't end up in the back of a closet this holiday season. Do what I'm doing. Give the gift of planning unforgettable experiences with Viator. With Viator, you can book guided tours, activities, excursions, and more. Viator has over 300,000 travel experiences to choose from, so it's easy to find something that everyone on your list will enjoy. Plus, they have real traveler reviews, so you can pick the perfect experience with confidence. And with free cancellation and 24/7 customer support, you can gift worry-free, knowing that plans can change, but great memories last forever. So skip the predictable presents and make this holiday one to remember with Viator. Download the Viator app now. Use code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking in the app. Find travel experiences for you. Do more with Viator. We're also brought to you by ourselves. Pardon My Cheesesteak. It is football season. Football's back in full gear. Pardon My Cheesesteaks brings you awesome cheesesteaks, loaded fries, delivered right to your doorstep, and we'll be offering free delivery throughout the entire football season. Take your pick of our delicious cheesesteaks made with fresh, thinly sliced steak, melted provolone, mouth-watering cheese sauce, and caramelized onions on a toasted hoagie roll. We have classic cheesesteaks, chipotle cheesesteaks, chicken cheesesteaks, buffalo chicken cheesesteaks, and many, many more. You can order the popular Big Cat combo and get your cheesesteak of choice, fries, and a drink Find a Pardon My Cheesesteak near you or order yours now at pardonmycheesesteak.com. Use code AWL for free delivery. Okay, boys, college football. We are 3 weeks away from, 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. Championship Saturday coming up very shortly. Of course, as we all expected, on November 12th, the undefeated teams are Oregon, BYU, Army, and Indiana. Huh?
Indiana looked good.
Yeah, well, they played. Michigan kind of almost won that game, but yes, they're 10-0. It was the first time that Indiana didn't just beat the brakes off someone.
I think there was a not so quiet conglomerate of people that were saying that this was the week though that Indiana gets introduced to real Big Ten football.
Yeah, I mean that's been happening for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they just keep on winning. And Kurt Cignetti is coach of the year for sure. Indiana, I think it's the first time. I think it's the first 10-win season for Indiana ever in football.
I think being 9-0, I think that was a record too for them.
Did you see his daughter got engaged to after the game with a video board? His future son-in-law said, "Being with you is like being 10-0 every day.
I'm undefeated in life."
Yeah, I don't know what his plan was if they lost to Michigan. Be like, being with you is like being 9-1 in a really good season.
Yeah, well, you're a 9 and I'm a 1.
Yeah, and they have their big game against Ohio State coming up, which will be another noon game. That's the big controversy. Big noon kickoff. Ohio State's finishing the season with all 6 straight noon kickoffs.
Can we talk about Big Noon Saturday real quick?
Yeah, but before we talk about it, I just want to say this makes no sense, and he seems like a really nice guy. It weirdly bothers me that Joel Klatt's name isn't Joe Klatt.
Joe Klatt?
Yeah, I don't like that his name's Joel. I don't know.
Joel Klatt?
Yeah, it's just an extra L that I just don't really want to say.
Schrodinger's Klatt?
Yeah, do you guys, is that a crazy take?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never had a problem with it.
I've always had a problem with it. I don't know why. Joel Klatt. Like, he's just a Joe Klatt.
Joe Klatt.
It just makes, he's making me do more work.
Joe Klatt.
Yeah. But he went on a big tangent being like, it's actually good, and it was essentially just saying it makes more money for Fox.
Yeah, so that's the thing about Big Noon Saturday is it's a marketing gimmick that was designed by Fox to try to create a window of college football that people are excited to see where there was not a window before.
Correct.
Where, as in the past, you had the 3:30 on the East Coast kickoffs, then you had the night games, and those were like the 2 big windows, and Fox has rights to TV games. So they said, why don't we just build an entirely new brand of appointment television around an early game? That's fine. It's nice to have more, like a full day of big college football games. It's nice to have one game that you can circle in each window. If your house that has one TV, this is what I'm going to be doing early in the day. This is what I'm going to be doing as I take a nap in the afternoon. This is what I'm going to be doing when I eat dinner and watch a big college football game at night. That's kind of nice. But to make all your most important matchups happen that early, it feels like there's a lot of people that don't like watching those. Number one, the fans that are going to the games.
Yeah, Penn State, Ohio State should have been a night game.
You don't have enough time to tailgate beforehand. You don't have enough time to get drunk enough to get a true home field advantage if you're at that game. And yeah, it feels more important when it's at night.
And it is. I have been a critic of Gus Johnson just because he has had at times been. I've liked Gus Johnson, but there's been times where it's like 5-yard out in West Lafayette at like 11:05, and he says it's like winning the Super Bowl, and it was a little too much. But the reverse has happened, and we've now killed Gus Johnson. I don't know if you could play that clip, but he was dead on Saturday. Like the big noon kickoff has killed Gus Johnson. He has no life left to him. Can you play the audio of the scoop and score? I don't know if you can. Yeah, play it.
Sometimes it's just too early in the day to get screamed at by the announcer.
But this was a scoop and score. It was literally Ohio State scored a touchdown. I know that the game was over and they were killing Purdue, but it was insane. Oh, this is the other one. He had 2. This is another touchdown. This is the first quarter. Yeah, people aren't watching this. They're obviously only listening. We're not going to be able to put the video in. That was I know the Ohio State was up 31-0. That was a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
It sounds like either a man that has the under in that game or a guy that's doing a crossword puzzle as he's doing the play-by-play for it.
But Big Noon Kickoff has killed Gus Johnson, but we have it. We actually have the big game. Travis Hunter is playing Big Noon Kickoff, I believe, this week in Colorado against Utah. Boys, it's getting very serious because Miami losing, Cam Ward, I don't want to say eliminated from the Heisman, but that's a big blow.
Well, Cam Ward, his case for being the Heisman winner was that he was able to bounce back from any sort of deficit and just will his team to victory. And then when you don't do that, when the luck runs out, then kind of all the wind gets taken out of those sails.
Yeah, and then we have Dylan Gabriel, who's still lurking, and Ashton Genty, who's still lurking. Colorado has to win out. They have to win out and get to the Big 12 championship, because I think that if you have a championship Saturday and Dylan Gabriel and Ashton Genty and Cam Ward are all playing and Travis Hunter isn't, I think we might be fucked.
That might be a problem. I'm actually going to stand up for Joe Klatt right now.
Joe Klatt.
So I'm going to be on Joe Klatt's side.
Okay.
Because he brought up a very interesting point about Travis Hunter. When we talk about his snap count.
Yeah.
And I forget how many snaps he played this weekend.
It was. I know he scored a touchdown in his 100th snap.
Okay, so
and that was around the third quarter or so.
So Joe Klatt pointed out that Travis Hunter actually played 170 snaps.
Mm-hmm.
When you factor in the
penalties, yeah,
he actually played those plays. They happened.
Yeah,
whether you like it or not, that existed in the time-space continuum. But just because there was a flag on the play, they don't count in the official stat sheet at the end of the day. 170 snaps, insane. The interception that he had was incredible.
Incredible. That should have counted. We just got to keep playing that interception over and over.
That's his Heisman moment. Maybe the first player to ever have a Heisman moment that didn't count.
Yeah. So that will be a big game. Colorado, I'm very nervous about the Kansas game. Kansas is playing a lot better. They're starting to cause chaos in the Big 12. We also have the SEC. Credit to Ole Miss. Incredible performance against Georgia. Georgia. Their defensive line was so good, and their defense as a whole was so good. You thought, like, the way that game started, it was sack, fumble for Jackson Dart, and he got hurt. And you're like, oh, here we go. And then the Georgia scores on, like, the third play. Here we go. This is going to be a blowout. Their defense just kept them in that game. And Jackson Dart obviously gutted it out. Their backup, too, came in and had a really nice drive. Ole Miss is for real. And we now have an SEC where there's 3 teams that are one-loss teams. And then there's another, 5 teams that have 2 losses. Mm-hmm. And the craziest thing about the SEC, this is how deep the SEC is. South Carolina, who has 3 losses in the conference, I would take them over probably 3 or 4 of the teams that only have 2 losses.
Well, definitely A&M.
I'd take them over A&M. I'd take them over Mizzou. I'd take them over LSU because they should have won that game. They got screwed. And remember, they almost beat Alabama. Like, they were in that game. They didn't beat them, but they were in that game. So that's how deep the SEC is. And we are headed for a collision course where if Tennessee loses to Georgia, we're going to have a whole mess everywhere.
Yeah, doomsday.
Yeah. It's basically Tennessee losing to Georgia and Texas getting upset by Arkansas, and it will be headed careening towards doomsday.
Yeah, there's going to be some wild shit that plays out in the SEC. I don't know that – obviously Ole Miss's defense played very well, but this is kind of a running theme with Georgia where their offense is not as good as it has been.
Carson Beck is not good.
They don't have the run game going. The offensive line doesn't look great. Carson Beck looks weird and also is not that great this year.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, yeah, it's a big win for him.
Huge. It's the one that Lane couldn't get, and he got it. And
the university has never had wins like this.
Yeah, and I think they won one time against the top 3 opponent or something like that. In this, like it's been a very long time. Actually, no, it was. I know what it was. It was our guy Chad Kelly. Yeah. First Alabama in 2014 or 15 or somewhere.
Also, best wishes to Swag Kelly.
Yes.
Had a brutal injury in the Grey Cup semifinals. He was holding his own leg together with his hands.
It's really bad.
That was
really bad.
It was tough to see. But
really, really bad. So the other SEC big matchup, LSU's out. Brian Kelly, he's just such a loser. He's such a loser. Did you see the clip of him complaining to the refs about Alabama blitzing 8? With like 15 seconds left,
mm-hmm.
LSU had their whole starters in. Mm-hmm. They were trying to score a touchdown, and I can't believe you blitzed. I can't believe you complained to the refs mm-hmm. about that. Mm-hmm. He's just a loser, and it's just so perfect that Notre Dame is going to go to the playoff and LSU is not. And like, I wish they would just get rid of Brian Kelly because I want to root for LSU again. And I can't stand the guy. And Jalen Milroe is the most electric. I mean, he was just so every single time he gets into open space and he does that like running sideways thing. I don't know how the angles work. You're just dead to rights if he's got full steam.
Who could have ever seen this coming? That team was going to try to beat LSU by having their quarterback run a lot on them.
Yeah,
Brian Kelly didn't see that coming.
Brian Kelly did not see that coming.
And the fake mic on the sidelines was
bad
a disaster.
omen.
Also, I think that might be an indictment on Brian Kelly.
Yeah,
because Brian Kelly, you have to be smarter than that and stand up for yourself a little bit when it comes to endangering students to not look the other way when they're bringing a fucking live tiger onto the sideline.
That's facts.
Just for your own brand.
Yeah.
You have to be like, we're not going to do that again. It was a depressing fake mic. He was all doped up on Quaaludes, passed out in a glass, like, I don't know if that was a cage.
Omar Bradley, right?
Yeah, it was Omar Bradley. It was not Mike. The tiger's name was Omar Bradley, and it came from a tiger dealer who has had Omar Bradley escape twice from his cage. And Brian Kelly was like, "Fuck it, okay, yeah, that sounds safe enough. We'll put him on the sideline."
Bad omens.
You think Coach O would ever allow a fake Mike to be brought into the same? Mike the Tiger lives, I think, like 200 feet from the stadium.
Correct.
And you're going out of state to outsource a dangerous tiger with a history of prison breaks, and you're bringing it onto the sidelines.
It was insane.
LSU's changed.
They're down bad. I have two other shout outs I want to give. I want to give Drive of the Week to Army. They had a drive against North Texas, 21 plays, 94 yards, 13 minutes and 54 seconds off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost, I don't know how you could get more.
That's a classic Army drive.
That's an insane drive.
On most of those plays, they pretty much had 3 fullbacks on the field.
Yeah, insane drive. And then the crazy chaos game of the night that most people probably weren't watching because it's Mizzou's still technically in it. Drinkwitz said that after. He's like, we're still in the playoff picture because they only have 2 losses. Mizzou versus Oklahoma had Oklahoma was down 7. They scored with like a minute and a half left. Mizzou gets the ball, fumbles the ball. Oklahoma picks it up, touchdown. So now they're up 7 with a minute left. Mizzou then scores. Oklahoma gets the ball with 30 seconds left. They fumble, and Mizzou gets a touchdown off the fumble. Mm-hmm. So he had 2 scoop and scores in the last 2 minutes to basically swing the game. Both teams were down 7, and then Mizzou ended up winning by 7.
Yeah, I thought the crazy game of the night, though, was BYU-Utah.
That was crazy.
Because Utah, they won the game. Utah was just punishing them.
Yeah.
And BYU in the fourth quarter comes back. There's a lot of talk about the was it defensive holding?
It was holding on the outside, yeah.
And the camera angle that we have is bad. You can't see anything.
It's also holding.
It also gives, but if you're not a fan of BYU, it gives you an opportunity to be like, this is bullshit. That clearly wasn't a hold because the camera angle is on the moon. But then you find out later that obviously there are fans in the stands that are taping it themselves.
Yeah.
That have a better angle. I think it probably was a hold.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think there was a lot of contact there, but there was enough. It was close enough where there was a ton of controversy at the end of it. And Utah felt like they had that in the bag, and that was just a crazy ending to it.
I really enjoyed Terry McCauley, rules official, maybe the most dunked on guy ever after this happened because he said, I'm going to see if I can find it. He basically was like, it's a hold, it's always a hold, that's the correct call. Like the end of story. And someone he said. I've looked at every pass play in the entire game, every complete route on the all-22. Nothing even remotely close to defensive holding occurred against either team because Utah fans are like, you can't call that now. Mm-hmm. Like it hasn't been called all night. And then a guy said, first of all, thanks for the retweet. Second, I find it hard to believe that you found the all-22 footage. Those are under tight lock and key in any program. Third, you clearly didn't examine the game. Definitely not in an hour. DBs and wide receivers are physical all night. Quit lying. And Terry McCauley just said, I have access to every camera angle of every game in college football within minutes of each play.
That's such a flex.
And he also was like, do you realize that a football game there's like 13 minutes of action and the all-22 has run, pass, split up. He's like, it takes me 20 minutes to watch every pass.
So he doesn't watch the commercials? Is that what you're saying?
No, he has the all-22.
Yeah, all-22.
Because he still is I think he's replay guy for NBC.
Yeah, so
just people being like, there's no way you could have watched that. He's like, I literally watched it all.
I need my replay officials and my rules experts to be Italian. Call me old school.
Yeah.
But I like a good Dean Blandino. I like a Gene Steratore.
Yeah.
I like those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Terry McCauley seems a little too Irish to me to get it right.
But he...
Mike Pereira. You got to have an Italian.
Yeah.
Memes is also talking back here about a timeout that they called.
No, what was that?
Utah Stadium was too loud.
Oh.
So BYU snaps it in the end zone. They have a clear sack on him. Would have been a safety, game over. Refs blow it dead. There was an inadvertent timeout that Utah was too loud, and the refs got together and called a timeout.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That is bullshit. Okay.
I had Utah money line, and I went to sleep thinking it was over.
Okay, so that is
bullshit. I did too.
That is bullshit. All right, justice for Utah. BYU's going to lose a game. I'll say it right now. I'm going to predict it. Not a crazy prediction. They might lose 2 games down the stretch. I'm going to pull up their schedule real quick.
Isn't Utah, that's the school that has the nuclear reactor on campus where a couple years ago after a bad loss, a student said that they were going to go blow it up?
Yeah.
They were going to detonate it? That's a good fan
that's
base.
Right. BYU has Kansas, who's playing really good ball right now, at Arizona State, who's also playing really good ball, and Houston, who might be the turnaround team of the year in the fact that they were like the worst team possible in September, and now they're very, very frisky. They're going to lose at least 1 game. So it's been a great story, but BYU's been doing this, living, very, very dangerously for a while now. Mm-hmm. Okay, anything else? I mean, the rankings, they're going to come out with the rankings. We're taping this in the afternoon, but there's nothing that can surprise me. I do think they should put more credit on SMU. That's my big thing. And I don't know. I mean, we'll see what the SEC still has to work itself out because you have Tennessee, Georgia coming up. You have Texas A&M, Texas coming up. Like, there's big games.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee was able to beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee's, they're not a great team.
I just don't know about...
Georgia's not a great team either. Georgia's offense is not that good. Tennessee's defense is pretty good.
Yeah. No, Tennessee's defense is good. I worry about Nico in a road environment. Okay. Let's do Hot Seat, Cool Throne, and then we got our interview with Julius Randle coming up. Hot Seat, Cool Throne is brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. No matter what happens between your favorite rivals this week, you've got a chance to win. Just go to the PMT Instagram and tell us how you prepare for a rivalry game with Coors Light for an opportunity to win the Coors Light rivalry shirt. 5 winners will be selected every Saturday until December 7th. So remember, when rivalries get a little overheated, choose chill and keep things cool by reaching for the Mountain Cold Refreshment of Coors Light. Coors Light's Mountain Cold Refreshment, literally made to chill. Coors Light's cold lager, cold filtered, cold package. It's as crisp and refreshing as the Rockies, perfect for a moment to unwind. Even the biggest rivals agree when it's time to cool things down and enjoy the game. You choose chill and then reach for a Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/take, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. That's CoorsLight.com/take. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Henry.
My hot seat is hopefully Jake Paul.
Oh.
Okay.
He's fighting Mike Tyson this weekend, I think on Friday. I don't really care about it. I'm not going to watch it. But they have a Netflix show. I haven't watched that either, but I saw the clip where it was like a vintage Mike Tyson clip where it's him watching TV and Jake Paul is doing a press conference and he's like, sorry, Mike, I'm going to beat your ass, whatever. And it's Mike Tyson. He's like, he's a man-made killer. I forget exactly.
Natural born killer?
No, yeah. He's a man-made killer. Like he's a media decided he was a killer. He's like, I'm a natural born killer.
Oh, I love that.
That's the difference. Like it literally gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. It's vintage Mike Tyson, and I feel like these fights are always disappointing, and this one I still feel like it will be, but that quote got me fired up, and I am hoping I go on social media and see him like knock him the fuck out.
Our good friend Tom Fernelli pointed out something to me via text last night, and it didn't dawn on me until he said that. This very well could just be Billy versus Canseco.
Yeah, so to me, the whole build up to this feels
Billy
like
versus Canseco.
Feels like this is boomer porn, where you see.
Watch this clip. Can we pull up the clip?
Because think about it this way: you've got Mike Tyson, who's a legend, and a lot of older people grew up watching and be like, "This man can kill anybody," which at the time is 100% true. And then they naturally grow to hate the Paul brothers because they're like, emblematic of everything that millennials and Gen Zers are doing. And so you're like, my guy that I've loved is going to knock the fuck out of this young little pissant. And you have all this hope leading up to it to watch the younger generation get their like comeuppance. And at the end of the day, the older generation is also still very old and probably out of shape and probably not able to punch nearly as hard as they could. And it's just going to be very, very disappointing to anybody over the age of like 40.
It will be super disappointing. This clip is probably propaganda, but it will sell a lot of fights.
But it's Billy versus Canseco, where it's like the older guy, everyone's like, holy shit, he's going to demolish him. This is going to be like a bloodbath. How is this young guy even taking this fight? And the older guy will most likely get hurt like 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
Billy did win, though.
It's true.
I'm a natural born killer. That's the difference.
That's a great clip. The only problem I have is it's Jake Paul saying, I'm going to take your throne, Mike. Mike hasn't had the throne for 20 years.
Yeah.
Now, what's the
more than 20 years, like been 30 years.
What's the headgear?
I don't know. Again, like I'm not even going to watch this fight. I think it's going to be Billy versus Canseco.
Like if
clip, it will be like that'll be on a rap song. That will be a great rap song. Like that is a great quote of just like it does give you goosebumps. Like,
yeah, but he should have called out Tyson Fury.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's a natural born killer. He was a natural born killer. Like he's a natural born killer. He's just old. Mike Tyson did say something like Iron Mike has come back and I can't control him when he comes back, which that's also scary for other reasons. Okay, good hot seat. And then my cool throne. Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah.
Dana.
Yeah.
Dana Holgerson will serve as the Nebraska offensive coordinator versus USC, and I think for the rest of the season.
Yeah, this is bullshit because Wisconsin plays him next week.
Oh, no.
Yeah. He's going to fix their offense. No doubt. No doubt about it.
I love it. I love it.
Our guy Dana. Your best friend.
My best friend. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. You had another cool throne?
Yeah. PMT documentary, episode 2. Drops Wednesday night.
Okay, so today.
Yeah.
Tonight. This is how we promo. We finally figured out the promo
of Barstool Van Talk.
Love it. Well, no, I don't love it. Actually, no, I do love it.
Episode 1 was very, very good.
Yeah,
this one's better.
Job, you know what? I love it because this podcast wouldn't be careening towards year 9 if we had kept that show.
There's more juicy stuff too. There's more. I think the episode 1 was good, but it was all relatively known. There's more details with this one.
Okay. Yeah, that was the best thing that's ever happened to us.
By far.
It sucked in the moment. It was a very bad feeling when it happened. But looking back on it, goddamn, I'm so happy I didn't have to work.
I just remember when it got canceled, I got so high that I got trapped in a Call of Duty commercial. It was like one of those when the new Call of Duty came out and they did like the 3-minute commercials, and I was so high sitting on my couch trying to like numb away being canceled, and I was just like the commercial got like 2 minutes in. I was like, did I change the channel? Where the fuck am I right now?
I remember what happened right after it was canceled. You know how we dealt with our misery?
You guys are spoiling on the doc.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, well,
tune in to the doc.
Tune in to find out.
That was smart. Did I say the Call of Duty thing? Oh, shit. My bad.
Did I say where we went right afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
All right. Tune into the doc.
No spoilers.
Good job.
But it's very on brand.
PFT, your hot seat, cool to run.
My hot seat is cleanliness.
Okay.
Did you see the story about Syracuse head coach?
Yes.
So Syracuse head coach Fran Brown says that after losses, he doesn't allow himself to shower because only winners get soap. Or excuse me, winners get washed, winners get soap.
I like that.
Afterwards, he doesn't feel that he's entitled to shower because he doesn't deserve it after losing. Basically saying you get a piece of dry, like steel wool, and you can spit on yourself, and that's the only way that you can wash. I like this. I like this sentiment.
I kind of disagree, though. Shouldn't you wash off a loss and keep the mojo going for a win?
You want to
don't ever change?
What about the stink of losing?
Yeah, you want to wash it off.
You want to get that off? That doesn't motivate you?
No, I want to keep the win and never change anything.
But if you were dirty, wouldn't you be more motivated to win so that you can shower?
No, I guess, but I would. It's like a lucky pair of underwear. I want to keep wearing it.
You keep going until like being clean, smelling good is the mark of a loser.
Yeah, right.
Your must,
a winner is just rolling through it.
Your must should take over.
He should try it both ways.
Yeah, but he probably has. I remember there was a team, I think it was Derek Dooley when he coached at Tennessee, and they were on a losing streak, and he blamed it on the lack of shower discipline on his players. So at practice, he had them gather around, and he had to show them how to wash their ass with a loofah. Ooh. Here's where you put the soap. Here are the hot zones that you have to get.
Okay.
That's a mark of a loser head coach right there. Is when he's coaching showering to the guys. But I still appreciate it from a football guy mentality.
Yeah, no, I like that part. You should test it both ways is all I'm saying.
But also I don't know if he extends that to the team or if that's just for himself. If it's for himself, I love it. He's like, I won't allow myself to shower.
What happens if he loses before like a 10-day layoff over Christmas?
Just you're going to have a smelly Christmas.
That's bad, yeah.
Yeah. And then my cool throne is Stu Feiner, our good friend Stu Feiner. Tonight, Wednesday in Chicago at the Laugh Factory, Stu is doing a stand-up routine about his life.
Oh, no.
And I'm lucky enough to host it. Nick's going to be there. Mook's going to be there.
Is it a 12-hour
Chris Bader.
show?
They're taping it for a special. So this is Stu Feiner's.
He's doing a special?
Yeah, Stu Feiner's doing a special tonight. Yeah, so he's going to do a stand-up routine about his life. I think the rest of us, we might roast Stu with our time on stage. But yeah.
That's going to be a 5-hour show.
Yeah, it's never ending.
We'll see.
It's going to be a double VHS.
Tickets are on sale right now if you want to go to the Stu Feiner.
There's an intermission and everything like that.
I don't know.
There has to be.
Listen, nobody can control what Stu does.
No, what you just described sounds like he's going to be in like 6th grade 1 hour in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be there.
That will be fun. All right, my hot seat is cheap wedding guests. Did you guys see there was a viral post the other day? A woman said, we just got married yesterday. We spent $60,000 on our wedding with a guest count of 270. We worked our butts off and pushed so many bills, rent, etc., only taking out a loan of $4,000 for my mom. And we received $3,000 in cash and checks total from cards. We're freaking out. We thought we'd get more, and the lowest card amount was $10. And this woman is basically like, we expected a lot more for all of our guests, and now we're fucked.
I think that you need to just be friends with richer people.
I also think that
what would your math tell you?
270. Well, the only thing that I'd ask is if they had a registry. If they had a registry with like pots and pans, they fucked themselves. They should have just been like, registry is cash.
Honeymoon fund.
Yeah, right. I would expect for 270 people. I'm trying to do the math. There are probably a lot of couples. I'm gonna say I would expect at least 10 grand. At least $100 is what you like. $100 is a typical, depending on where you are in life. $100 is, I feel like, is the minimum you give at a wedding. But see, is that not right?
I don't know, because the registry plays such an important part in it. With a registry, even if
that's 27 grand.
If the average gift on the registry is between $50 and $150, you get people that spend $100 on a gift, and then they don't necessarily put up nearly as much as they would have.
That's what I'm saying. The registry is all. If there was a registry, then they fucked themselves.
If you're counting on this wedding to fund your honeymoon, then you just make a honeymoon fund instead of doing a registry at all.
Yeah, I'm saying minimums too. Like I even when I didn't have money, it would be like 300, 500. Like if it's a close friend, that's what you do. Minimum is 100. You got to pay for your meal and the drinks. That's kind of what you do it. $10 is the big. I would fucking send that back to the person.
Also, 270 people is too big for a wedding.
Yeah, but they probably were like, we're going to cash in.
Yeah,
like that minimum, they should have had 10 grand. I actually think that's crazy.
You got to get richer friends.
Or these people are just shitty people. $10? What do you give, Max? 100 a person?
No, I give more than that.
Yeah. Look at that. Baller.
100 a person is like very low.
That's what I'm saying. That's minimum. You're getting a full meal, a band, a full bar. Maybe it was cash bar. Cash bar, you give nothing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, cash bar, you get nothing.
Point.
Destination wedding?
Maybe.
Could have been a destination.
I do like to go, when I go to weddings, I like to bring like a bunch of cash and not have signed the card yet. And my gift will be based on the time I had.
You put the stack of cash on the table and you start removing
it. It can fluctuate.
Based on the playlist, bad DJ.
Yeah, how was the dinner? Was there multiple? What were the hors d'oeuvres like? It's basically based off the hors d'oeuvres.
A lot of times these registries have the thing that you can just give money directly to there.
It's like a Venmo.
So there's no even excuse because you can just be like, oh shit, I forgot to get cash. Oh, whatever. I'll just go onto the website, donate there, and then just write on the card.
Yeah.
Gift isn't on the website.
This is insane. And then my cool throne is the NBA Cup because it's back. And we have an awesome promo going with DraftKings. We're going to start doing our NBA Cup picks. So people will be listening to this. Obviously, the games happen. But going forward, we're going to release it on all the socials on Tuesdays. So next week, look out for our picks on Tuesdays. You'll actually, if you're listening to this right now, you can go and look at our picks that we've already made on our socials, and we'll look like idiots. But DraftKings has a great promo on the NBA Cup. So check it out, and we're gonna be getting in on the NBA Cup this year.
We're battling for the NBA Cup. We
Yes.
have the NBA Cup here in the studio.
Yeah, we do. It's sitting right over there. So we're gonna have some fun with that, and hopefully, we'll be bad.
I'll be taking the Sixers +3 against the Knicks tonight, which is the biggest loser on the board.
I was going to take the Sixers money line. But that's fine. You can take them against the spread.
Love the NBA Cup.
Yeah, I'll take the points for sure.
Okay.
Love the NBA Cup. Oh, I'm gonna take. Oh, I know it. This will be very stupid when you're listening to this. I'm just gonna take every single Klay Thompson over. First time back in Golden State.
Yep.
He's gonna go nuts. Okay. Speaking of NBA, let's get to our interview with Julius Randle.
Before we get to Julius Randle, he's brought to you by The Farmer's Dog, our great friends at The Farmer's Dog. We all love our dogs. They complete us. And while we all want peace of mind that we're doing the best we can to keep them happy and healthy, that's where The Farmer's Dog comes in. The Farmer's Dog makes and delivers fresh, healthy dog food right to your door. It's developed by vets, nutritionally balanced, made from real meat, real veggies, to the safety standards of human food. The Farmer's Dog isn't just fresh, higher quality food. They also send the food pre-portioned specifically for your dog based on their unique nutritional needs. Blake has been eating the Farmer's Dog pretty much ever since I got him. He's enjoying the turkey. He had the turkey for breakfast this morning. He's going to have some beef for dinner tonight. Stella has been the Farmer's Dog for years, and she's living a happy, healthy, full life. And your dog can also maintain their ideal weight much easier when you use the Farmer's Dog because they send the ingredients pre-portioned. You just cut the bag open, put it in their dish, make sure that they're not overeating. They get good quality food to stay happy, stay healthy, and stay at their ideal weight. It's one of the biggest indicators of a full, healthy life. Dogs at a healthy weight can live up to 2.5 years longer than overweight dogs. Get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food at thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Get 50% off. That's thefarmersdog.com/PMT. Julius Randle is also brought to you by Mountain Dew. You know what we all need to get more of? Off our ass. With bold flavors and a refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew will get you off your ass and have you feeling like you're on an actual mountain. I love the Code Red. Code Red is such a good flavor, Mountain Dew. Changed the game when they introduced Code Red. The Baja Blast, also a favorite of mine. When you're drinking Mountain Dew, you feel like you're on a mountain where the weather is always perfect, your friends are ready to hang, and a day of epic proportions awaits. Mountain Dew is a great drink. We had it at summer camp this year. At Camp Barstool, we were drinking Mountain Dew after we got off the obstacle course, after we got done playing softball. Nothing's as refreshing as an ice-cold Mountain Dew after spending some time outside. If you're doing a turkey bowl this year, playing a little football, celebrate with some dew afterwards. The mountain's calling, you should answer. Grab your friends, grab an ice-cold Mountain Dew wherever refreshing beverages are sold, and do the dew. And now, here's Julius Randle.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest in studio, 3-time NBA All-Star, 2-time first team?
No, I wish.
How many time first
hype
team?
Me up though, please.
3-time All-Star. He's been in one of the all NBA teams at least twice. Yeah, it doesn't matter which one. It is Julius Randle from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Does that sound weird saying it? Because it's still new, right?
It's still very new.
Yeah. So let's start with that. How's the first month and a half that you've been on the Timberwolves and like feeling everything out and yeah, I mean it's got to be weird.
Yeah, it's definitely new. You know, especially when you've been somewhere for 5 years. I was like at a mall with my wife, and a lady comes up to me and she's like, you must play basketball. Who you play for? And I'm like, I'm Timberwolves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like one of those situations, but it's been great, man. I'm loving it. To be honest,
yeah. And I mean, you got traded like late, like right before the season. Is that especially weird, not having a like training camp and everything with your new team? And you're just like, all right, now I'm on this team.
Yeah, man, because it's like at that point you think like if anything happens, it'll be during the year, you know, right before the trade deadline. So, you know, for it to happen like 2 days before whatever training camp was kind of crazy because, you know, it was more the basketball part is easy, but like adjusting and moving a family, like my son had just started school. He was in school for a little bit. So like that was probably like the hardest part, just getting adjusted. But you know, it's cool now. We good.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get used to the business of the NBA and understand that sometimes things happen to you not because it's like them? Maybe you still feel like upset if you get traded. You're like, man, I don't feel like they really appreciate me if they're willing to trade me away. But I feel like a lot of players that have been in your position at some point, you kind of figure out that it's not personal.
Yeah. I got used to it. I mean, pretty quickly. I think maybe my first wake-up call was with the Lakers.
Yeah.
And, you know, LeBron was coming to town. There was like, well, LeBron's coming, so,
yeah,
you know, you gotta, you know, figure it out, you know, and that's how I ended up in New Orleans for a year. But, I mean, that was probably like my first time. And then from then on, it's just been like, you know, the business is what it is. And you kind of got to, you know, roll with it and adjust.
I think you were also unlucky your first time because they had to like renounce you. They had to use the word renounce. Nobody likes to be renounced.
Yeah.
That's a fucked up way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest though, like I asked for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause
please renounce me.
Yeah. Cause I was, it was a situation where I was young in my career and, you know, I was coming off a pretty decent year with the Lakers, and I just kind of wanted to continue to grow. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the Buss family, I had a great relationship with them, and, you know, they helped me get to, you know, a good situation with that.
Yeah, I think in Minnesota, it's also a compliment. Like, they wanted you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, especially, you know, in these situations, you know, I'm pretty secure in who I am as a player, you know, at this point in my career. And, you know, the shock, obviously, it was a shock at first, just with everything. But from like day one, like the moment that I got traded, I already knew Finchie because I had played for him in New Orleans. So from a basketball standpoint, like when it happened, I'm like, well, I really want to play for Finchie. Like I'm excited about that. You know what I mean? But like the organization, like Tim, Matt, and Dell, like A-Rod, like all those guys, like called me and were just telling me how excited they were for me to be there, you know, how much they wanted me, you know, how long they were working on a trade, all those different type of things. And, you know, after I got over the initial shock, it was like, all right, man, I'm somewhere where I'm wanted.
Yeah.
You know, appreciated and valued. So like, you know, it just took a little bit to like change my perspective and look at it differently. But once I was able to do that, like felt extremely comfortable just being there.
Was there part of you like, oh, I get out of Tibbs practices now? I mean, there has to have been. And I'm a Tibbs guy, but funny? Everyone says the practices are brutal.
Yeah, you know what's funny, man? I'm like, we have these conversations like all the time, like in the locker room. And I'm like, Ant, man, what kind of practice is going to be today? And he like, man, we just might watch film and da-da-da-da. I'm like, word? Okay, bet. Like, I get excited, you know what I mean? Yeah. I get a little pep in my step. So, you know what I mean? You're somewhere for such a long time. And like, I appreciate Tibbs. Like, it's like Tibbs is like a coach that's going to have you every game super prepared. Like, you're not going to miss a beat on anything that's going to go on. But also, you know, here, like, it's different. Like, Finch has us prepared, but we're also like empowered, you know, as players to, you know, be adults, to be professional and, you know, come in every day, do our job. And, you know, he trusts us with that responsibility. So like, it's very empowering as a player.
And it feels like everyone who has played for Tibbs, like they'll be like, yeah, the practices are brutal. He grinds you hard, but he also brings the most out of you. Cause like you had your best year, you know, whatever it was, probably his second year, I think, in New York. Like that's, and like we've had Joakim Noah on here. He's like, yeah, Tibbs was a real motherfucker, but like if I didn't have him, I wouldn't have gotten the best out of my ability.
Yeah, I mean, like at that point in my career, like Tibbs was the perfect coach for me. You know what I mean? He got the most out of me. He pushed me. You know, he gave me ample opportunity, you know, to grow as a player. So, like, I appreciate him, you know, for what he was and you know, what he meant to my career during that time.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about going back to school and, like, getting a master's degree from Villanova so that you could fit in?
Hell no.
You fit in with all the guys?
Absolutely not. I think I chose the right Wildcat.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did Dante say to Tibbs?
You know, I'll leave that to Tay.
Okay.
I'll let Tay.
We'll have to have him on just to tell us what he said.
Yeah, we'll see. But
that was fun for a preseason game.
It was a lot of energy. It was a lot of energy. It was a lot going on that night.
Yeah.
I'll say that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So your time in Kentucky, Cal. Like, that was when Kentucky was rolling. You guys go to the championship game. I went to Wisconsin, so I was actually sitting
played you guys.
I was sitting like maybe 20 feet from what was it? One of the Harrisons hit that 3.
Yep.
That destroyed me.
Yep.
Was there ever a moment during that game you're like, we can't lose to these white guys?
You know,
I feel like that happens.
You know what's crazy is like that was like once we got through Wisconsin, I was like, oh, we got it.
Yeah, you didn't.
Like because like exactly because I'm like, man, like. Wisconsin was our hardest game of the tournament by far. Like, I'm like, bro, these dudes used 35 seconds of every single shot clock.
Yep.
Like, super disciplined. Like, they're not going to beat themselves. Like, so it was like one of those games. And, like, it was like one of those games, too. Like, the whole time, it was like we never felt like we had any momentum.
Yeah.
Until, obviously, Aaron hit that shot. And then, like, once we did that, we're like, man, like, we got this. Like, UConn, like we thinking like no disrespect to them, but we're like, man, this is, you know, ours. And like you said, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. So what? I mean, what kind of coach was Cal? Because I feel like he gets not a bad rap, but he obviously like there's a lot of times, especially his end of Kentucky, where it's like they weren't winning as much in the tournament, and he was talking about his draft picks, and everyone's making jokes. But like he seems like a guy who every player loves. Yeah,
it's funny because it doesn't matter like who. Like, I remember when I first got to Kentucky and DeMarcus and, like, AD and those guys, they had came back and they were like, man, this motherfucker's crazy. Like, you know, I should have been a number 1 pick. Like, just messing with I should have been a number 1 pick. Cal held me back. Man. Like, da-da-da-da, right? And, like, we always give him a hard time. And it doesn't matter if it's him or, like, I'm talking to Rob, who was just there last year. And we're like, man, we hated Cal when we were at Kentucky. Like, coached us hard. Like, you know, he's a tough coach. Like, he's going to be on your ass.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like one of those type of dudes. And then, like, everybody has the same story. Like, when you leave, you love Cal.
Yeah.
Like, everybody loves Cal. And, like, man, Cal just forget, like, the coaching, just, like, as a human being and, like, who he is to his core. Like, he's done things for me and my family after I've left Kentucky that like will be good with me forever.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do anything for Cal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like after I got traded, he was one of the first people that called me just to check in on me and see how I'm feeling. Like, you know, so he's that type of person that really cares about the person.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So,
it also is cool. I feel like Kentucky is one of those schools because they don't have an NBA team in Kentucky. Like all Kentucky fans root for Kentucky players for the rest of their career, like in the NBA. Like they're all, do you notice that? Will you go and like see, you know, Kentucky fans at random arenas like cheering you on?
Yeah, absolutely. It was, I just saw a Kentucky fan somewhere random.
Yeah.
Like maybe in Minnesota. I don't know where I saw him, but like I'll see him like on vacation. Like if I'm on vacation somewhere and they're like, man, we, Big Blue Nation, like they'll say that, like Big Blue Nation or whatever it is, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So like you're really tied in forever when it comes to Kentucky.
Yeah. What was the sales pitch like to get you to go there? Was Cal like, I will make you rich beyond your
Yeah.
No. and then you'll get drafted to the NBA and make more money.
Yeah. There you go. No, I mean, to be honest, it was 2 things. It was like I want to win. You know, because for me, the national championship was in Dallas. It was in my hometown. So it was that. And then it was like, you're going to be out of here 8 months.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I mean, like, I'm not going to keep you here, like, type thing. So, like, it was those two things. And then, like, just visiting, I'm a basketball guy, like, to my core and my heart, and like visiting, like, it was probably only one other place that I really visited and I was like, man, this place is like crazy, which was Kansas. Like, what was it? What's the arena?
Fog Allen.
Fog Allen. Yeah, like whatever it is, like that arena was crazy. Mm-hmm. And like Kentucky, I was like, man, I get to play in front of 20,000 every single night. Like, there's nothing better than that.
So obviously going to Kentucky, you're like a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. What was the point growing up that you're like, oh shit, I'm different than everyone else. Like I'm so much better than everyone else.
Like 11 years old.
That's awesome. Like you're just dominating everyone at 11.
Yeah, I think. Like,
what was your stat lines at 11?
I mean, it was my mom, to be honest, because my mom, she like for every like growing up, I was always bigger than everybody, and she always made me play like a grade up, 2 grades up, 3 grades up. So like I'm playing against older kids. And I'm like, I'm okay, but I'm not like that good. And then I played my first grade. First time I played, my grade was like 10, 11 years old. And I was like, what the hell?
It's on easy mode.
I was like, man, this is like the easiest thing ever. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I was bigger, faster, stronger than everybody, but I was just more skilled because I was playing up and advanced. So it was like, that was like an aha moment. I just kind of never looked back from there.
What was your best high school game? Do you remember like one that you like put in an insane amount of points? I just love thinking about like, because anyone who's obviously in the NBA, they've just been so much better than everyone for such a long time. It's got to be the best feeling.
I mean, my high school, like we were one of the best teams like in the country. Like, during my time there, I had like 50 in like 3 quarters or something like that.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Was it fun?
I'm like 20 shots.
Yeah,
it's got to be the most fun. Yeah,
it was a lot. Always, the high school was probably like the most fun ever, like for basketball,
dominating everyone.
Yeah,
I read a story that when you were playing AAU, I don't know if you were 11 or 12, but your team was so good that you guys flew private.
I don't know if it was because we were so good, but. Yeah, we did. That was the first time I played my grade though.
Yeah.
So it was like a funny, basically how the story was is like I played up until this team called the Texas Titans started. The guy, shout out to the Trout family, amazing family that took care of a lot of people. But the dad, he was starting a team for his son. Dad was a billionaire starting a team for his son. And basically his son was my age. He had 2 sons. He had one my age and one like maybe 2 years younger than me or whatever. And he was basically starting a team for his son. And, you know, people who played on the team, we were flying like the Mavericks plane.
That's
like
incredible.
Growing up as kids, you know, but the bigger thing was like in AAU, like, you know, you had to pay for everything and you're out of pocket for everything. Yeah. So like my mom being a single parent, like I used to watch her struggle to like take me to tournaments across the country and drive and all the different type of stuff. And he took care of everything. So like he took care, like obviously we were flying private, but like hotels, like parents, everything was there. So it was just like, I'm dominating my age group and I'm flying everywhere. And, you know what I mean? Like it was the craziest experience of my life.
That does sound like the best.
Yeah. And then you go to high school, which was high school. That was a different team from the AAU team, right?
Yeah.
So you have to play for your high school team. You don't fly anywhere.
Yeah. We flew, but we flew American Airlines.
Yeah, Spirit.
Spirit. And actually it might have been Southwest, but yeah, it was a different kind of travel for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, the fact that your travel was taken care of, it allowed a lot of people to play against competition that they wouldn't get to play against otherwise, right?
It was crazy, man. Like it was like I couldn't, like, I don't even really know how to explain it, but like as a kid, like it was insane. Like it was like the most fun time of my life.
Yeah.
Like all you look forward to is like, all right, even like when the summer would end, like AAU season would be over with and school would start and like, you know, basketball season probably wouldn't start again until November or December, like that's all you look forward to because like I'm playing with my best friends. We're traveling across the country like rock stars, like everywhere, you know what I mean? Playing against the best teams, killing, like, you know, winning tournaments all over the country, like exposure, all this different type of stuff, visiting different cities as a kid. Like it was insane. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was just like my experience growing up, you know, compared to what I was used to, like, and then to get that experience, like, man, it was like, you know, exposure is everything.
Yeah.
Opportunity is everything. And for me to be able to like see that at such a young age, that's why like I bring my son, my oldest son, like I've always brought him with me like everywhere to like games and stuff. Cause it's like the exposure just to be able to see like what's possible was like huge for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like to see that at a young age, it was like, even like then, like we used to go to, he had like floor seats at the Mavericks games. And like he used to bring us to the Mavericks games, and we were like kids sitting courtside at Mavericks games, and like Kobe was my favorite player.
Yeah.
So like I got to see Kobe at a young age, like, and just to see that, like it was like seeing Jesus, like you know what I mean. So it was crazy, you know, and I think that had a lot to do, you know, with my growth and you know where I am today.
Visualizing it, that's huge. So you mentioned Kobe. You get drafted by the Lakers. Kobe's at the end of his career. Is he still psycho Kobe in terms of his workouts and everything? Is there a story? Like we've heard them all, but what was the one where you're like, oh man, this guy is different?
I would just say like me going to his like he would work out obviously crazy early, like 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, 6 o'clock. And just like, I probably told this story before, but just like, I've never been to a workout where I go first off at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and we do defense for 2 hours.
So you don't even dribble a basketball?
We would have days where we would not dribble a basketball.
Oh my God, that's like Hoosiers,
for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, like, and he was so technical, like, no, you can't slide that way. Like, you can't move your feet. Like, but literally, you think I'm exaggerating. We would do defense early in the morning for like 2 hours. And I'm just like, this dude's insane.
Yeah.
He's insane. Like, it was just his mentality. It was just different. Like,
yeah. And that's crazy to consider, like, that's the end of, you know, his career.
That was the end.
Like, when he's in his 30s.
Imagine,
like,
what he was like at 20, 25.
Yeah.
Early 30, like.
What was he? Every practice, was it just full on like this is the most important game?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he was like, because he was at the end.
Yeah.
At that point, like his body, and like he was injured a lot during that time, so his body wasn't holding up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, it got to the point like if we saw Kobe at practice, we're like, oh my gosh, like Kobe's here, like, type thing. That's why you saw that whole viral clip of him going like in on like Jeremy Lin and Nick Young when they were fighting, the whole practice clip where they were fighting. Yeah. It was because like people were joking. They were like, man, Kobe's here. Like, we can't like believe it, like sarcastic. And he just kicked everybody's ass.
Did he make you play him one-on-one?
Yes.
Did you ever beat him?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. But that was like the thing too. It was like when I played him like one-on-one, and like I loved that. Like I wanted to compete. Like, so like as a young player, I'm a rookie. I'm getting there early. And, you know, I'm thinking I'm, you know, doing what I'm supposed to do as a young player, getting there early. And he was already there, like working out, full sweat. So like I'm walking onto the court and he's like, Jude, come play one-on-one. And yeah, like I thought I was going to get him. Like in my mind, I'm like, and then he flipped the switch, and it was curtains.
Crafty, yeah.
That must have been a crazy experience though, going from like watching him courtside when you were a little kid.
It was insane.
Now, are you able to go hard? Are you able to like play as hard as you want to against a guy that you've looked up to for that long?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just like it's like one of those moments, like, you know, you meet your idol. Not only do you meet your idol, but you're playing on the same team as your idol. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it took a while to process, you know what I mean? Because it's like you watching every single thing he does.
Yeah. This might be a dumb question, but I'm curious, whenever I talk to an NBA player, to know how you come up with new moves for yourself, like how you put wrinkles in your game. Mm-hmm. Is it something where you spend most of your time or if you're watching like somebody else, you pick up things here and there, or do you have to get in like a creative mindset to figure something out?
I think it's like maybe two things. I think like one is like you have like a game that you do like, or like whatever your go-to is or what you feel comfortable doing, and you just kind of build up off of that. And then like so like you might add, like I always got that from Kobe, like you don't have to add like 10 things to your game. Add 1 or 2 things. You know what I mean? If it's you got to step back, add a pump fake step through to it or whatever it is. So like you have that, and then like it's like little crafty things too. Like 1 year I added, like they took it out the game, but I used to have like the off arm sweep through that I had, or like now you have to have 2 hands on it. You know what I mean? So like little crafty things where you learn how to like draw fouls, or learn how to just kind of like manipulate the defense and stuff like that. So like it's one you add to like the base of what you already do, and then others just like little crafty things that I might see a player do and like, man, I like that. Let me try that out.
Yeah. When did you know that you were awesome at spin moves? Because that's like when I think of Julius Randle, it's like the spin move, you know?
When was that? I don't know. I feel like it's always been like,
it's just natural. Yeah.
Natural, yeah. I
that's
think it's
the move.
Always been a part of me. Yeah.
Do you? So I looked up there on Pro Basketball Reference. They have all your nicknames. I want to know how many of these actually people have ever called you. They have Big Jew, King Julius, Don Julio.
Don Julio.
Okay, I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if it was Don Julio because it's Julius. Orange Julius. Never.
People have called me that, but that's not like a real.
Okay.
Name, yeah.
And then Beyblade.
Beyblade, yeah, I think that was like.
That's because of the spinning. Yeah. That's an awesome nickname. I had to look up what Beyblades were. It's like a Japanese animation.
Fidget spinner, yeah.
And they spin around. That's a great name. Yeah. That's an awesome nickname.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
if I heard
keep
somebody
spinning.
Yelling Big Jew at you, I would just be like, I don't know if I.
Yeah, that one's a little.
Actually, I got Big Jew. That was a nickname I got when I first got to Minnesota too.
Okay. Yeah. Who gave you that?
Free.
Okay. Yeah. How is it like? You obviously saw Anthony Edwards last year in the playoffs and everything. When you get to like play with him, he does feel like a guy who just makes everyone better, and like the confidence that he has. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he's different.
Yeah,
he's very different. Like obviously, like confidence wise, he got the ultimate belief in himself.
Yeah,
like. He thinks he can do anything out there. He really like it looks like he can.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So he got the ultimate like confidence and belief in himself, and that's like contagious.
Yeah. I saw like what was it the other night he scored like 27 in the first. Was that him? Yeah. In like the first like quarter or like a little bit more.
He's like he goes unconscious out there.
Yeah, dude, when that happens, you just like I'm getting out of the way. Like just get him the ball.
Find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those type of things. Like when a guy like that gets on a roll, like first off, like going into a game, you want to try to bring that out of him, as much as you can. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, how can I get him easy looks to really get him going?
Yeah.
And then like once he's going like that, man, it's like just keep feeding the high hand because he draws so much attention. It just makes the game easy for everybody.
Yeah.
I would get caught watching his dunks if I was on his team.
Yeah, for sure.
I forget to get back.
He ain't trying to dunk right now. He's shooting that thing right now.
Yeah. He's so much fun to watch. And yeah,
he's a lot of fun.
When he gets locked in, it's like, can't do it.
And I've never seen like from an athlete like perspective, it's different playing against him because you only play against him like for me it's like once or twice a year. You know what I mean? But now it's like I see it every night, and I've never seen an athlete like that.
Yeah,
be able to like move the way he does, cover ground, like get downhill, to be able to cut and just maneuver. And he's not like a little guy; he's a big dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's just like for him to move at his size the way he does, it's special. And he covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We have, 3 or 4 more years of him, and then he's going to the NFL, right?
Yeah, he's going to the NFL. Yeah. Are you a Cowboys fan?
Yes.
Oh, no.
What's it like being a Cowboys fan?
It's bad.
Because we talk about Cowboys fans,
We talk about Cowboys. What do you say about Cowboys?
Well, we talked so much shit. Well, actually, no.
We had Skip Bayless on.
We had Skip Bayless on, and we also had Dak ranked as the 17th best quarterback in the NFL this year.
Accurate.
No, we definitely. I mean, it's fun to shit on the Cowboys. That they're kind of that brand. You know what I mean? It's like the Yankees, it's the Cowboys, the Lakers. Like
the
that's
Knicks.
the Knicks. So I mean, are you ever going to win again? Because you're not old enough to remember the Super Bowls.
You know what's crazy? Like I used to go to Dion's house as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I played basketball, and I was on the same basketball team as his son.
No
basketball
way.
Put me in crazy.
That's
circles.
nuts.
Yeah.
We're big Dion fans. He used to work here, so
yeah, I used to go to his house all the time. Like,
that's crazy.
Bucky, I don't know if Bucky Dion, the junior.
Yeah.
I used to. So like, yeah, you're right. I'm not old enough, but like my mom, she gives me hell about it because she's like, "So what y'all gonna do this year?"
Wait, well, who's she a fan of?
She's not a fan of anybody.
Oh, she just trolls you.
Yeah,
I love that.
trolling.
I love that. I'm a fan of your mom. Yeah.
So she used to say that all the time. I'm like, we winning it all this year.
What happened?
And then it would happen. Like what would happen is the Cowboys would be the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? So like she would troll me all the time. And now it's to the point where I'm at an age where I'm like, okay, this is what it's like to be a Cowboys fan. But now I've made my son a Cowboys fan.
Oh, no.
Yes, and he lives and dies by every game.
Oh, no.
That's cruelty.
And then,
It's cruelty.
It is. And then my wife was recording the other day because we were watching, I don't know who they were playing. And he was like, man, we suck. I was like, yep, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I have 3 kids and they're Bears fans, and I had to teach them what tanking was last year. And that's a real humbling thing to explain to your kid, that like losing is actually winning.
Yeah.
And they like repeated it back to me. I was like, well, only when we're talking about the Bears, not like in life.
That's
like,
complicated.
Yeah. It's like, no, it's good that we lost. It's like, I shouldn't teach this lesson.
Did you ever feel like as a Cowboys fan you should go to Duke instead of Kentucky?
Never.
No?
Did you get recruited by
Cowboys, Duke, and Lakers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did get recruited by Duke.
So what? You were like, Coach K, not for me. Good man.
I'm not admitting that, but
no, say it. I hate Coach K. So go ahead.
No, I love Duke. I love Coach K.
Nah.
But it was just like I wanted to play for Cal.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go to Kentucky. I wanted to play for Cal. You know what I mean? So it was like, and Kentucky was like the cool thing. You know what I mean, like I grew up like, I think my freshman year, that's when I knew I wanted to go to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Seeing John Wall and all those guys and stuff like that, it was nothing like it. But like being around like Coach K and just like he was coaching an Olympic team and stuff like that. So it was like, it just Duke, I didn't feel like I fit like Duke culture.
Yeah.
Were you about to say like,
Yeah.
I went to Kentucky, big state school, a lot of people there, great student fan base, and then I went to Duke, smaller school.
I visited.
Not a lot of cool people to be around.
Yeah.
From the opposite sex there.
It was. I met my wife at Kentucky. So
Okay,
yeah.
there you go. So you're
Good
smart
choice.
move. Wait,
Exactly.
so when did you start getting recruited by like these big schools? At what age?
Like my freshman year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's got to be kind of like a mind fuck to be like you're 14 years old and you've got major D1 programs hitting you up.
Yeah, I mean, I really, truthfully, always wanted to go to Texas. Like growing up in Dallas.
Yeah.
Like I grew up a Texas football fan, Texas basketball, seeing KD. They just like were on like the down side. Like as I was getting older, but like I played with a guy. Zach Peters, who was an amazing player, and he was going to Kansas. So like we already had like a bunch of coaches coming in and watching. And like they saw me, and from there it kind of just took off.
Oh, so they would come see him and they'd be like, wait, who's that freshman?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that you when you're recovering from an injury a little bit ago, you spent so much time off your feet that you actually got better at basketball because you were studying. It made you study.
Yeah.
You got all that screen time in because you couldn't walk around. Because I did read that you were forced to work on the mental aspect of the game more because you couldn't do the physical stuff.
Yeah.
So what did you improve just by not having to be practicing all the time?
I mean, that's like been the great part of like what's been unfortunate the past 2 or so years, like getting hurt at the end of 2 years ago, and then last year, dislocating my shoulder, which last year I was more prepared for it than I was the year before. But like sometimes you just got to slow down, man, like to catch up, to improve. You know what I mean? So you get so caught in, the cycle of, for me, it's like season ends, I train, I don't take much time off to reflect, to really, break things down. And for me, it was like, once I had like my ankle surgery, it was like, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, well, how am I going to improve? You know what I mean? Because that's always been my biggest thing, is like, I take pride in getting better every offseason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like, well, I got to figure out a way to get better, without physically being able to go and work out. And for me, it was like, I've always, for like the past like 5 years, really worked on the mental side of things. So it was like, I took that up a different level, and then like just studying the game, you know what I mean? Just, it's like the Kobe, how aspect of what he's passed down to me, of just how detailed he was, just how obsessive he was on like improvement. It was like, all right, well, this is taken from me. Well, how can I, work away around that? And, for me, that was basically what it was, you know what I mean? So I just broke the game down, study players that I like, and, figure out how I can add to my game and get better.
Was it frustrating the playoffs 2 years ago when you were playing like very banged up, mm-hmm. and you had a ton of injuries, and you struggled at times? Like, was it frustrating having the fans be like, "Oh, why is he playing better?" It's like, dude, I have so many injuries right now, and I'm out here battling. Because that would drive me nuts. Where I would just complain about my injuries so much that everyone would be like, "All right, stop complaining about the injuries."
Yeah,
credit to you for not doing that.
For me, it's like one of those things. It's like, if you out there, figure it out.
Yeah,
like type thing. So it's like, it was more frustrating at the end of it, where it was like, well, shit, like that sucked. Like we didn't win, and I'm like banged up. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like. But like, I think for me, it just built character.
Yeah.
Like more than anything. And it was just like one of those situations where it's like, man, these things happen, but just learn, grow from it, come back, get better, like type thing. There's no point in me feeling sorry for myself. Like nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? So it was just like, get better, give yourself some grace.
How many, what injuries did you have then?
I had like a bad ankle injury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it was like your lift on your shot. I was going
into games where I couldn't, like, I would be warming up like before the game, and I'm just like, bro, I can't even move.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, type thing. And that's a long story, but like ended up like right after the season, they're like, man, you need to get surgery.
Yeah,
like type thing. So it was just like, all right, cool.
Yeah, but it was clear, and you were battling through it, which you should get more credit for.
Yeah, I mean,
and we're not Knicks fans, so we'll give you credit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different beast when you're in New York.
Yeah,
like, they don't care.
It is like big time.
If I tried to do this podcast and I had like a severe concussion during the podcast, that's all I would talk about.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, listen, none of the shit that I'm saying right now should count against me because I am banged up.
Yeah.
And I would just milk that. But I guess it's different mentality if you're a professional athlete.
Yeah, it's different, and it's just like for me. I think it's like the Kobe spirit in me as well.
Yeah.
It was like, man, I've seen this dude battle through so much. And just following him in his career and just knowing who he is as a human. So it's just like, man, if you can give your team anything, go out there and give them whatever you can. Obviously, you criticize all that different type of stuff, but like I said, man, I wouldn't change anything about it.
What? Because we are fans and we're stupid. What do fans get wrong about the NBA? Like when they're watching it, or like they're just, it's like that's not how it works. Or I think it's from my perspective, it's that I think the average fan doesn't realize how incredible you guys all are at basketball. Even like the last guy on the bench. Yeah,
it's that, and I don't think they understand how hard it is to win.
Okay, what do you mean?
It is not an easy place. Like every night is like, I don't care who it is you playing, like let alone win a championship.
Right.
But to go out every night and win games, and play at a high level, like it's not easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I say that because I come from a perspective of like, I've been on bad teams. And I've been on teams where it's not fun. Like, and you go into the arena knowing that you're outmanned, outmatched, and like, you know, if you win, like it's like the biggest relief ever. You know what I mean? Because I've never grown up in my career losing games until I got into the NBA.
Right.
You know what I mean? And was in rebuilding situations. So it's like appreciating winning, like at a high level, like it's not easy to do.
Wait, so in the NBA, when you've been on bad teams, do you guys still in the NBA do the thing that like you do when you're growing up playing team sports and you look across to the other team and you're like, oh, we're fucked?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah, you don't do that. You don't do that. But it's like
you count it. You're like, all right, they got that guy, that guy, that guy, and we got shit.
Yeah, no, you don't do that. Like at least me personally, like you compete. You're a competitor.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so like I don't really do that. But like I've been on teams where it's like, all right, man, like we didn't win a game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like we got to figure out how to win a game.
Yeah.
Like type thing. Yeah.
And you know when you were growing up that every team you played did that for you. They were like, oh, we're fucked. Yes, I can guarantee you. We could go like get kids from Texas that were in that same area at that time and be like, yeah, what was it like playing Julius Randle? It's like, yeah, we showed up and we were fucked.
You guys landed on a private jet.
They just saw you. They just looked at you and were like, shit.
My mom said,
not tonight.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I guess I remember
you
that,
could feel it. I'm sure you could.
For sure.
Is there a like if you're in the middle of a losing streak, if you're on a team that's not going to compete for anything at the end of the season, it's a long season and it gets dragged out. Is there a difference between like how to be a good teammate on a shitty team versus how to be a bad teammate on a shitty team? Like, can you pull together towards anything if you're on a team that's that bad?
Yeah, I think it's like all about environment, like and like coaching, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like you can lose games, but are you learning anything? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like my biggest thing is like now it's like I'm either winning or I'm learning. You know, I'm never like losing anything. Like if we lose a game, I'm learning something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If we're winning, I'm probably learning something. But it's like I'm winning or learning. So it's like I've been on bad teams where we were losing and we weren't learning shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I've been on teams where we were losing and we were learning, and then eventually we got better. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like that team, like specifically, I remember the team when I was with the Lakers, like the last year, where it was like me, Lonzo, B.I., like Kuz. Like we weren't a great team, like to start with, but we started winning games because like we just had a good environment, good coaching. You know what I mean? Every day we were coming in, we were learning something.
Yeah.
And eventually we started to win games and learn how to win games.
And now you're on a really good team.
Yeah.
I'm on a great team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Really good team. Who, when you first got into the league, who was the one guy that you were like, oh man, he's way harder to defend than I ever imagined, or like crafty or strength or
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Oh, good answer.
Yeah.
Not a crazy vertical for LaMarcus Aldridge, but he
knew how to get a bucket, man.
Yeah.
And it was like very simple. But he knew how to like get buckets, he knew how to draw fouls. Like he was and he was at the time, like when I came into the league, where it was like the big men were like, it was like real, still like big man. Like,
yeah.
It was like still too true. Like your power forward could be 7 foot. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was still like that. And like you had like 3 out, 2 in type thing. So it was like he would get the ball on, what was it, their right block maybe or whatever it was, and he would go to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
I've always heard also Steven Adams is a crazy guy to go up against.
Strong as hell.
Because he's like the strongest. He'll just to knock your ass over.
Yeah, he was different too.
Yeah.
What about the first time you saw Wemby?
It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
It was at the guard. He didn't even look real.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to interview him, but I want to see Wemby.
I want to see him walking by.
Yeah, he was different. He was different.
Yeah.
He creates all sorts of like math problems that you've never had to figure out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's nuts.
Definitely, yeah. He was he's.
Yeah. All right. This has been so much fun, Julius. We really appreciate you coming by. I had one last question for you. It's the Roback question, RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-Zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts, Roback.com, promo code TAKE. We mentioned earlier the Tibbs practices. What's the craziest drill or practice that Tibbs would make you guys do? I'm fascinated by this stuff. We had Joe Keem in here, and he told us what was it? Kirk Heinrich, he said, used to sit in his car before the game, before the practices, and just be like, God damn it, I don't want to do this. Or is Mike Dunleavy maybe?
We got this drill called 100 passes.
Oh, okay, that sounds like a lot.
And imagine like running a play and passing the ball around like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And then don't shoot. And start the play over again and pass it another 10 times around, drive, pass, and keep doing it until you get to 100 passes.
So that he created edging for basketball.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's terrible.
Then you would shoot at the end. After you get to 100 pass, you shoot or whatever it is.
You can finally shoot?
Yeah, you finally shoot.
After 100.
Damn.
Just touch the ball 100 times and then shoot.
Yeah,
we got that. So.
Would you, and when you shot, after you shot, would you do it again?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do a different play or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was one of those drills where you get like one of the younger players, you like, hey man, get in for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a breather.
Yeah, you go run around.
He's doing the 100 pass thing again.
You can see it coming.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I did have one other question. Wait, PFT, you had a last question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask about like some of the work that you do in the community, because it's pretty cool stuff that you're up to, and I feel like a lot of people would like to hear about it.
Yeah, man. I think it's really no matter where I've been. I think like for me, just the work that my wife and I do is very important. We both come from single parent families and just underprivileged kids, so we're always been about like helping the youth out, helping single moms out, just because we've seen our moms do it and struggle to provide us with everything. So we always are trying to figure out a way to give back, and doing the same thing here in Minnesota. I'm going to be working with some kids here. Skechers is helping out, so it's like whenever I like partner with people or like brands or whatever it is, I always try to bring them in, but it's super important for us.
That's awesome. And you got a court named after you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Where's the court?
That was in New York. That's in New York. I worked with Knicks legend Earl Monroe.
Yeah.
And basically had this thing where it's like the amount of threes I made is what we donated. Like had a bunch of people come in and like pledge a certain amount of money for every 3 I made. So like I think this past year we donated like 1.3 million to the Earl Monroe School.
That's awesome.
Which helps like kids, and they're doing like Earl, Dan, like those guys are doing an amazing job. Like they took these kids from the Bronx, and these kids' reading levels were like 3 or 4 grades behind, and like took these kids, put them in with like these great teachers. Their first graduating class is coming up, and their test scores are amazing now. So
that's awesome.
Like it's way bigger than basketball.
Yeah.
Like for me, like being a part of New York and that community, like it was big, and I'm still helping those guys out just because they're just incredible what they're doing over there.
Where'd you live when you were in New York? We used to live in New York as well.
I was in Scarsdale.
Okay.
For my first couple of years, because we practiced outside of the city, and then I was in Manhattan. My last 2, I was in the Upper West Side.
Our old office was right across from Madison Square Garden.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah.
It's that area. It's good.
Not sometimes.
During COVID,
on what time
there was a couple times where I came to the office and there was like a guy jerking off in front of me on the street.
I say Minnesota is a lot more convenient.
Yeah, you get in a car. That's the thing. I do miss parts of New York, and it is nice not having to get in a car. But then when you do get in a car, it's like, oh, this is kind of nice. Just put on like music or podcast and just drive.
It's gotta be nice getting out to the Midwest though.
Yeah,
I love it.
Stretching legs a little bit.
All right, well, Julius, thanks so much, man. Anytime you're in the city, we'd love to have you back on. This was so much fun.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Yes, sir.
Julius Randle was brought to you by Hey Dude. Hey Dude, have you ever tried Hey Dude? Did you know that they make boots too? They bring the same comfort and style that you love, now in a boot that's designed for colder weather and rugged days out. Hey Dude makes boots that are every bit as comfortable as their classic shoes, giving you that lightweight, easy feel, perfect for any adventure indoors or out. They're ridiculously light, unbelievably comfortable, built for any occasion. Hey Dude boots are made to keep up with your style and your lifestyle, from outdoor trails to city streets. Hey Dude boots are available in cozy materials, durable fabrics, versatile colors to find the perfect pair for every single look. Find your next favorite pair of boots on heydude.com. Check them out. Weather's getting colder. You're going to need some boots, some winter boots. Go to Hey Dude. They make super comfortable shoes. They make outstanding boots. You're going to love them. Go to heydude.com and check them out today. Julius Randle was also brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. We all know that 2024 has been wild so far, but let's talk about something that's important. If you get injured by a person, place, or thing, you deserve to get paid. Life can be crazy sometimes. One person's negligence can result in another settlement. If you're in an accident, not calling a lawyer means that you could be leaving money on the table. When you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. With over $20 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. Submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is so easy. Winning the NFC East is hard. We all know that. Hate week right now. We're in the thick of it. I'm going to say that whoever wins this game, they're going to win the division. How about that? How about that, Max?
Sure.
Winning this division's hard. You know that. No team ever repeats in the NFC East. Who won last year, by the way?
Cowboys. It's already.
Okay, all right. So we're going to get it again. Winning that division's tough. The NFC beast. But submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is easy. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/PMT or dial #law #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/PMT or #law #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
Okay, Hank, let's wrap up. Guys on Chicks.
My husband and I have been married for 1.5 years, and he is still weird about me seeing his dick when it's not hard.
What?
Whenever he's getting out of the shower or something, he always hides it and says we aren't that close, but his dick is definitely not small, so I don't get it. Is this typical guy behavior, or is he a psychopath?
Psychopath. Not a psychopath, but at this point, yeah, you should be well beyond that. Now, a lot of women don't realize that the size of a man's dick can fluctuate wildly depending on anything from the temperature of the room to what pants they're wearing, what they had to eat that day.
Were they running?
How are they scared at the moment?
That's also a lie. He definitely has a small dick.
Yeah,
there's no way. If you had a big dick, you don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I think
you'd be flashing it everywhere.
He's probably grower, not shower.
Yeah,
and. Yeah, at any given time, walking around, probably like an 80% difference in how big your penis can appear. He's still putting on like the happy face for you. He's not afraid to show you his real self, and that's the problem.
My urologist was a stool yesterday.
Did you show it?
No, so I went to the urologist for my kidney stones. Guy, very nice doctor, walked in and he was just like, "Hey, you seem familiar. Maybe big online presence." And I was like, sick. Nice.
Let's see that schlong.
Yeah. So we talked about my kidney stones. He took the kidney stone. He's going to do a test and all this stuff. Looked at some CT scans, whatever. And I was like, "Are you going to look at my dick?" And he's like, "No, I don't have to." And then I was just like, "Well, I shaved for you." And that got awkward.
Do you want to? Yeah.
And then he said after, he's like, "Just so you know, like I follow you on Instagram, but I have been following you for a while. It didn't just happen."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "I appreciate that." But yeah, I mean, depending on how my kidney stones go, that guy will look at my dick eventually.
So I had 2 urologists in New York when I was going through the same thing with kidney stones, one of which was an AWL, the show. Did not show him my dick. The other guy was not, but you feel like you have to make small talk when the doctor is like,
looking at your dick,
moving your dick around and feeling things. And so he was like, so Sullenberger, is that the name of the guy that landed that plane in the Hudson? And the only thing I could think to say, because we were still doing that joke, was, "Yeah, you know, they named a drink after that guy." And the guy goes, "Oh yeah?" And then I just couldn't bring myself to deliver the punchline. I choked big time.
It's a big time moment.
Well, what's the punchline?
Hey, you know the punchline. Yeah, Grey Goose with a splash of water.
Okay, next.
All right, I guess we'll go to this one. Speaking of dicks.
Okay.
There's a picture that's involved. There are a couple pictures.
Oh.
Hey, PMT, I've been on 3 dates with this guy, and he's in Michigan for 1 month, and he sent me this update catching fish with his grandpa. Is this raging 14-inch boner Or does this man just love fish? Also, can I handle this in the future? What would you do? Thanks. So I'm going to send the picture.
Okay.
And then I'm going to
Nope, I got it pulled up already on the screen.
Yeah, that guy's got a hog. He's John Hamm. Holy shit.
Yeah, good for that guy.
Good for him.
He should be holding the fish up next to his dick to show how big the fish is.
What if he just has stuff in his pockets and she's expecting the John Hamm?
Now,
so I'm looking at the angle right now. There could be something in that right pocket that gravity is pulling down.
Yeah, it could be a golf ball.
Or just his phone.
What do we have any other picture?
Just the group text from this girl
to
her friends.
Oh, is that it? Okay. All right, good. It is a girl. Okay, so we have confirmation because obviously there's a lot of people who think the Guys on Chicks. There's a lot of men that write in. That would be an all-time wrinkle if this dude AWO basically concocted a story for us to look at his penis.
Mm-hmm.
No, so it's a group text from this girl. It's a girl sending the picture to her friends, and then one of her friends goes, "Is that his dick? I just choked." Do you think girls tell him that a lot?
Yeah, I think you got to. I mean, he's also the fish is a nice fish. It's a really nice fish. And he's not doing the cheating thing where he's putting the fish too close to the camera to make it look bigger than it is. That and his dick.
There's a good possibility this guy sent you that picture because there was something in his pocket weighing it down that made it look like he had a big dick, and he wanted to send it to you so that you get excited.
I don't know, dude. The guy's wearing the Kuroki's, the sunglass things. He's kind of a sportsman. I think that's a man's man. I think that's a man's man.
You might be, yeah. Might just be dealing with a guy with a hog.
We're going to need this person to follow up
after
they go on the date to see if it's actually that big.
And the guy with the big dick and the fish, if you want to chime in with your size, soft and hard, we'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Listen, she just needs to be like Sam Pittman. Embrace the hog.
Yeah.
All right, last one, and this is also from a girl who got tricked by her boyfriend. Hi, Alex. It's Mariah. I got your number from Nolan. He told me you won tickets to the Patriots game this Sunday. Obs, I want him to go and have fun, but please make sure he behaves himself, LOL. Last time you guys went to a game, he didn't come home until the next morning. I'm working Sunday night and need him to be home to watch our daughter. He's a 32-year-old child. I can't believe I even need to send this, but please make sure he doesn't get into trouble this time. And then followed up and said, oh, okay, I don't know who this is, but my husband's sitting next to me dying laughing like I said I married a child.
Wait, what is this?
I'm a little bit confused.
I'm very lost.
This guy told his girlfriend that he won tickets to the Patriots game with apparently a person that he had previously gone to a game with and didn't come home until the next day.
Yeah.
And then she said, I want to text them and like...
Do you have another Guys on Chicks?
Wait,
my bad. This is a miss.
Memes.
I thought it was funny.
I want to understand this.
So the husband had her text this number.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Wait, the husband texted the Guys on Chicks?
No, the husband had his wife
text the Guys on Chicks.
Yeah.
I like this dude, for the record.
No, it was a miss. My bad.
But this dude rocks. The fact that the wife has to actually, if this story's true, and the wife has to be like, hey, he has to look after our fucking daughter in the morning, that's awesome. This guy is like, he just got, listen, it's always, when you get older in life, those like moments of like, oh, the night got away from me, I just didn't come home, those don't happen anymore. But if you know someone who that could happen to, that guy rocks.
And there's always one friend that you have to be on the lookout for.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that one friend and getting to spend one night. It's like it's a mini vacation that he gets.
Like
give him one night alone with his most unruly friend.
I've had moments in my life where I've been out with friends and it's like, oh, night got away from us. We just didn't go to sleep. We just went to the casino till 7 a.m. or we stayed at the bar. Those are the best nights ever. And I wish I could still do those. I haven't done one in forever. This guy rocks. Credit to him. His wife wrote a confusing Guys on Chicks, but I love this fucking guy. He's the man. Pug, any presidential orders you got for us?
I still got to link up with Blake and cook up some policies. So,
okay.
TBD on that.
Okay, happy birthday, Pug, by the way.
Happy birthday, Pug.
Happy birthday, Pug.
Big 3-0.
11-11.
Well, that would be, what, 210?
Oh, wow. You're getting up there.
Yeah, we're getting up in the years. But,
love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Also, I received a lot of feedback from Monday's show, especially the end of the show, accusing me of not saying love you guys to the listeners. Many people felt unloved. I did say I love you guys, It seemed like this was Max during, he's trying to
hate week.
He's trying to psych me out for hate week and take me off my game because of the Eagles Commanders game on Thursday. Wouldn't be surprised if he does some monkey business and takes it out at the end of this show too. But I did say I love you guys, and it was visible on the YouTube.
We'll see.
Pug, when you fuck, if you fuck for like a minute, are you like, yeah, actually that was 7 dog years?
Yes.
Okay, nice.
It would rock.
Credit to you.
Pug.
If when Pug became a dad, he had like 6 kids at once.
A litter?
Yeah.
A litter of pugs going around would be so great. Pug, if you have anything, if you have 6 tuplets, sextuplet, the odds are like 1 in a billion. But if you do, I want you here and now to say that we're allowed to make one of those weird, creepy reality shows about them.
Okay. Okay, deal.
Okay. If it's 7, no. If it's 5,
6
no.
has to be
6 has to land exactly on 6.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. But guess what? The reality show would pay for your kid's life. 6 of them. The Puglets. Those shows. What was it? Octomom?
Octomom, yeah.
And
What's
John
it,
and Kate plus 8. Those were.
Nothing is a bigger guarantee of your life getting ruined than doing one of those shows.
Yes. Okay.
The Duggars.
The Duggars. Numbers.
40.
11.
5.
99 Pug.
21.
64. 79.
Love you guys. Include that.